Hello, everybody. Welcome to Crypto Talk Now, live with one whopping person. So, with that said, we'll wait for more people to connect. All right, Boomer F and Sooner. Good to see you, man. Thank you for joining us. You're in the house. Word up. And Coochie Boy's in the house. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us, Coochie Boy. It's just the hat a little bit too low. How you guys doing? It's mainly you two right now. I guess there's some other shows going on, which is understandable. So, guys, anything in particular you guys are following right now at the moment? Yeah. All right. Let's see here. I never seen you before. Jim B. He states, "Let's get it. What are your thoughts about Luna Classic tonight and the latest proposal to re-implement the bird tax?" Um, Well, my thoughts on Luna Classic are that, like I mentioned before, you might not have been on their show before, but I'll state this, I'm mainly looking forward to 2023 with building up that particular ecosystem. That's what excites me because if anything, I want to get back to how things were before the whole thing happened with the collapse and so on. Um, Inviting more and more projects to get back into that thriving blockchain. And if anything, I think there's a real roadmap, if you will, to get to there as far as this new proposal. I don't know. I'm kind of mixed on that particular one and so on. I need to read up a little bit more in regards to all the pros and cons of it and so on. Because let's face it, when it comes to proposals and whatnot, and especially Luna Classic, it just seems as though we're basically two steps ahead, one step back. It's not me trying to create FUD or anything like that. I'm just trying to be real in regards to just that. So I do agree. We do definitely need to burn a heck of a lot more Luna Classic, and I think we definitely will get there. Another thing, I feel as though that we can eventually in the future possibly repeg UST, USTC technically speaking. And of course, with the whole wormhole method and so on, one of our guys, Mike Cornwell, went into detail about that a while back. But yeah, that's kind of like how I currently feel about it and so on. I know they have, for instance, one particular metaverse. It sounds pretty interesting. We covered it here before at CTN. And if anything, I'm just paying attention to, some ones like that and so on. Not specifically so much just Luna Classic itself. Let's get this ecosystem going. And of course, obviously more burns definitely helps along the way. Want to go ahead and welcome you though, Jim B. If you guys haven't seen him before, um, definitely go ahead and give him a welcome. And I, of course, am going to give you a welcome myself. Thank you for being here. All right. Boomer Effort says, just chilling, watching a movie, 13 minutes. Uh, okay. Coochie Boy says Caroline gets to avoid jail time. Yeah, we're gonna get into that in just a bit. I did see a few more people came. Thank you so much for that. Jim B states, first time here. Thanks. All right, awesome. And happy holidays. Yep, same to you. 50-50 for me on the proposal too. I'm not buying right now, and I'm not selling. That's just the way I look at it too. I mean, I'm glad you pointed that out. I think a lot of people feel that way right now. A lot of mixed emotions and so on. I'll tell you guys this much. I mean, um, let's face it, I'm gonna highlight your particular spot. So I want to comment on that just briefly. Last year, I did really well with Shiba Inu. And of course, this year we got to that point where some people were feeling that Luna Classic wasn't particularly that gamble coin anymore, right? It went from the status of being a lotto ticket, if you will. Then it went to the stage of like, well, it's more like a meme coin, and it goes through all these particular cycles and whatnot. But my thing is this, when it came to Shiba Inu last year, I had roughly like 6 straight months of this sideways consolidation. And I think for a lot of people, in this bear market, they were so excited about Luna Classic because what they saw with, this particular coin basically going against the grain, if you will. You know what I'm talking about, right? Bitcoin and Ethereum, the rest of the market's down, but what stood out at the time was Luna Classic. And I like to remind people, it's just like, don't get spoiled with those types of things. You know what I mean? Like, you've done your research, where it could eventually go. Crypto shouldn't be designed, whether it's Luna Classic or anything, as a get rich quick scheme and so on. You got to give it a little bit more time. And I think, if anything, for me personally, there's where the division was. You have a set group of people who want to basically just look at this as a constant swing trade, if you will. And there's the other groups like myself and so on, who's just like, all right, I know what I have. I know what I'm going to sit on. And if anything, let's still build this up. So does it create a lot of community division? Oh, yeah, you better believe it. So, yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm very like 50-50 on these particular proposals and so on. I need to be sold a little bit more on just that. So thanks for the input, Jim B. And again, guys, give Jim B a welcome. That was a great comment. Menelek is in the house. Hello, Menelek. Is it you I'm looking for? Lionel Richie. Shout out to Larry. All right. Love to see ALBT on Uphold. Yes. All right. Let's go to the next comment. And by the way, welcome, Menelek. Good to see you. Of course, people welcome you. Jim B states he's sitting on 10 million at 0.409. Okay. You got a buy order for that, huh? I hold about roughly 15 million Luna Classic. My original goal was to get to 20 million, but I've been more than satisfied at 15, and I haven't added any more Luna Classic probably for about. I think the last time I bought Luna Classic was probably last October. So I'll say this much: if it did dip down like some of these levels, like you're mentioning, 4 zeros. I don't know about 409, but like even more further down than that, maybe 8. I may choose to, DCA into it again. I basically dollar cost average into Luna Classic, I think about 6 times already. So that would be about the 7th. I'm gonna go a little bit further down. Thank you guys for joining us here tonight. When the show first started, I was kind of like, man, where's everybody at? But I also realized sometimes you guys come from other shows and so on. So I gotta respect that. Menelek states, did I skip over one? I'm sorry. Boomer Half Stewart, Tornado movie on Showtime with Trace Adkins. Okay. I still like Twister, man. That was a really, I don't know. I just set the standard. That first original Twister where they come out in 96 or something like that. Really like that movie. Twister 2 comes out in 2024. Oh, I just literally mentioned that. Referring to the first, of course, the first one. Who was the actor that ended up passing away a few years ago? He also played the role of Morgan Earp in Tombstone. The Bill Paxton, right? Yeah, R.I.P. Bill Paxton. All right, but 2024, that'd be cool. It'd be nice to see kind of like modern effects and so on. But I don't know, that original one was so well done as far as special effects. That was really, really like something else, especially in a theater. I don't know if you guys ever saw it in a theater. Like, if they ever have a re-release in a theater and you want, to really get all that effect of the sounds and whatnot, gotta go see it. I need to go see the new Avatar. I really like the first one in 3D. I thought they set the standard for, 3D effects, if you will. So my friend said that the new one's pretty good. Whether you're a fan of all the blue stuff or not, my thing is, I'm looking forward to seeing it. So please, no spoilers if you've already seen it. Menelek says, did anyone see Chat GPT fuzz XRP when asked about XRP is centralized, etc.? I did see a little bit about Chat GPT, I should say, mentioned, of course, from the likes of Coach JV, who we share a lot of his content. But as far as the FUD, no, I haven't seen that. Be interested to hear about that. Everyone's welcome, everybody. There's the guy we're looking for. Tim Shea says, hey, thanks for joining us, Tim. Really appreciate you, sir. Let me go a little further down. Let me see. Next, we have people say hello to everybody. That's good. All right, let me go a little bit further down. Menelek says, VeChain, HBAR, Morpheus, and other digital assets and platforms will disrupt and increase efficiency in global supply chains. I just recently saw the thing about I guess it's Morpheus MNM, right? So it mentions specifically about in the trailer I saw, literally like maybe an hour before the show, specifically mentions the whole thing with logistics and whatnot. Everything they explain, I literally was saying to myself, this sounds totally like VeChain. So um, I did like that, for instance, that tie into it. And if anything, there was a connection. I don't know if it was necessarily ISO 222, but there's some familiar blockchains that are tied into the ISOs. And of course, that's how I stumbled upon it. And I know some of you guys have been mentioning it before. Shout out to me, myself, and I. I think he mentioned it about a week ago or something. All right. We do have some news for you guys. We're just kind of still going through the comments and so on. We're only about 11 minutes in, but we kind of had a little bit of a late start waiting for the stragglers to come in. It's okay. Um, Everybody asking you how's it going. Paul Rose, I haven't seen you before. Maybe I have. But again, consider changing your avatar. Something speaks about who you are and what you're about. That way it's easy to identify you. But again, welcome. Is ALBT ISO 222 compliant? Yes, but not officially speaking. But it's definitely one of those that's I guess you could say part of that list of ISO coins / tokens and so on. In fact, I'm glad you brought that up. Let's go ahead and get into what I would like to refer to as the new crypto or ISO cheat sheet 2.0. I basically retweeted this the other day, and I want to go ahead and share this with you guys again. So give me just a moment to do so. Here we go. Let me see. So let's gotta see where I'm at on here. Present this in a way for you guys to see it. And there we go. So some of you guys already retweeted this. Tim Shea, I think Brian Dowie also. But yeah, I mean, for instance, you have some of these ones right here. So the ones that are specifically ISO 222 compliant, like I guess officially speaking, have this little icon on the bottom right. And again, I literally shared this like the other day. So this is a pretty fresh new one, if you will. So like as you see, Stellar, Hedera's H bar, not Constellation DAG, but XDC, Casper, obviously Ripple's XRP, IOTA. Some of these other ones I need to do more of a deep dive into, like Corium and so on, Sologenic. Recently got into Algorand. Of course, I covered Quant quite a bit. LCX. I got some LCX news for you guys today. I should have tagged LCX, but no, I don't officially see Alliance block on that. But again, it's always thrown into the particular group. So if anybody has some more up-to-date information in regards to, hey, Max, technically speaking, they are officially ISO 2022. It'd be nice to see that. And, I'll just thank you in advance for sharing that. So there's the ISO 222 cheat sheet. There's a couple of things I wanted to get into before we get further down to the comments in regards to this. So, for instance, here's some specific ones, right? So Stellar on a Hyperledger fabric. Jeez, that's a tongue twister. Think about Hyperledger fabric. Anyway, Stellar Consensus Protocol SCP. You have, for instance, 0.4038 per transaction with 1,000 TPS. Somebody just basically mentioned HBAR. I think it was Menelect. For instance, you got 10,000 TPS on that. Hedera's Consensus Service, right? ACS Gossip Protocol. Tim Shea mentions Day quite a bit. Be on the lookout for a future deep dive on that. No set date or anything like that. But again, the Air Force connection, that's nothing to, bat an eye at, right? So for instance, proof of reputable observation, PRO. There's less transactions or fee less transactions. That's fee less. I mean, come on. 4,000 to 5,000 TPS. Now, as far as TPS specifically, right? I gotta say, out of all these, Casper definitely takes the cake. Look at this. So it says Casper Highway Protocol, 0 to 1.5% per transaction, up to 50,000 TPS, and it's one of those ISOs. It's got an asterisk on it. I think that means that it's on its way to becoming one. The ones that don't have it, obviously, are the ones that are already just that. But yeah, nonetheless, if you're following me on Twitter, I already went ahead and retweeted this. And it's a nice, as the saying goes, cheat sheet. I will point out Quant real quick because we cover Quant quite a bit. So on this particular new ISO cheat sheet, or where you want to refer to it as, it does mention, for instance, Quant over Ledger Network, and it says specifically blockchain agnostic, API gateway, and operating system. Again, an operating system to enable secure interoperability by connecting users, businesses, institutions, multi-ledger technology, digital ledger technology, supply chain, and just that, CBDCs, and so on and so forth. So I share that with you guys. Going to kick it back into the comments just for a brief bit, and then we'll get back into our news coverage. But Paula, thank you for the question. And again, thank you for joining us here at Crypto Talk Now. We do appreciate you being here. Guys, gals, everybody, please give Paula Rose the warm CTN welcome. And any other questions, comments you have, feel free to share them, comment on them, ask, where the case be. No one's going to bite your head off and so on, whether you're new to crypto, whether you've been in this many years. So thanks again. Coochie Boy, we come from other time zones. Lol. Yeah. We have about roughly 20 people here. Thank you for joining us tonight. See, even Mental like is answering as we speak. Yep, Bill Paxson, RIP Bill Paxson. Michael Montclair says, hello all. Good to see you, Michael. Glad to have you here tonight. Jim B states, gotta go IMAX to outdo the original. Yeah, we have a proper IMAX format theater. I shouldn't say just like, how you go to certain theaters and it's just like they have the IMAX format, I should say, and then like it's just a typical auditorium. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, oh, okay, well, but where I live is on the opposite side of town. There's actually an IMAX auditorium specifically built for that, and it's pretty incredible when they do have shows, just to feel the whole experience of IMAX to the full, like the fullest, if you will, just with the sound, the visuals, all that's pretty awesome. All right, and Philip Seymour Hoffman, yeah, RIP to him too, great actor. All right. Going further down, let me see. Here's this one. I said that ALBT is for people who want Quant, but find Quant too pricey for their wallets. I think that's why Tim Shea refers it to ALBT as the little cousin, if you will, to Quant. Tim Shea, Max, when I saw Twister, it was in the middle of a heavy thunderstorm. So cool. Wow, really? Huh. That would be a cool effect. Like, I mean, it just, you know what I mean? Like, my dad says it sometimes too. Like, I don't know if I 100% agree with this and so on, but like, him and my mom always felt as though, like, if they watched something visually speaking that was like a cold blizzard, like psychologically, it would affect them to be cold. So I imagine for you, when you actually saw Twister and it was in a heavy thunderstorm, it would just create that much more of a, I guess, a psychological effect. So that's cool, man. Here's somebody we haven't seen in a while. Isaac Birmingham. Probably not pronouncing the last part right. I know you told us how to do it a while back. So I'll just say, Isaac, I do recognize you. Good to see you back. He says, aloha, bro. Sneaky pick is fund connected to Shibarium. I don't know. I mean, I know I'm in the SHIB, but I have to check into that. Anybody can verify that? I need to kind of, catch up on my Shiba Inu. I mean, I do follow it, but been doing a lot more following on some of the other ones, even though I diamond hand SHIB. And I don't know, man. I was so tempted to just kind of pick up half and not diamond handed again, buy another billion. I'm really tempted to do that. I was thinking about with some of these prices, right? 5 zeros was 83, something like that. It's not too far away from when I originally purchased my SHIB at 5 zeros, 799. So I've been tempted to get like maybe a half a billion. But it's just really, really tempting just to go all in on that as well. But there's a lot of them that are really tempting to go in all out, Obviously the triple X's, anything ISO 222 related and so on, right? All right. Boomer says, come to Oklahoma. We can go to the Twister Museum. They actually have a Twister Museum. That is really, really interesting. Well, someday I will. I'll look you and Mike Cornwell up and all the guys. How about that? That'd be cool. Paula Rose says, I will change it. I am new. Thanks, Max. Well, you're welcome. It's just, it helps us identify quickly who you are. There's a few people, like, for instance, Prophet, he eventually changed his, but I mean, not many people come in here with the name Prophet. So, like, I'm able to remember that. But yeah, that's really, really cool. And our goal is to have you here as a regular, and hoping that you enjoy the information that we share. We always, of course, like to recognize people in the community. Sometimes we might skip over certain comments and whatnot, because we end up having what we call good problems, where there's just too many comments and so on. But for the most part, we do have our regulars and so on. So again, welcome. Glad to have you here. All right. Going a little bit further down. Tim Shea says he calls ALB Quant's less expensive cousin. Yep, he does. You definitely do that. Cool Cat Crypto's in the house. He is a monkey, or he's recognizing the monkey who wants to blow its gas. All right. Yeah. Hello to the Cool Cat Crypto. Once in a while it becomes the work cat, though. Don't forget that, but that's all right. All right, Michael Montclair. So 8 days for some major events that will rock the crypto world. Happy New World Order, or is it? Well, I'll say this much. Be on the lookout for a trailer. I'm going to do it, but it's going to be well put together. We'll have like a proper intro, all that. And of course, it's going to have some footage from Wolfenstein's The New Order. But yeah, it's I don't know. I saw some footage from that game and I was like, this is totally the World Economic Forum, Mr. Klaus Schwab, all that stuff. You will eat at Wiener Schnitzel and you will be happy with your sauerkraut dog. Auf Wiedersehen. Anyway. All right. Mentellect. There are some other Quant white labels that will be massive in the future. Okay, good point. We have 25 people here. Thank you so much for being here at Crypto Talk Now. Daniel Delgado is in the house. He says, hola, mi niete, if I'm pronouncing that right. Well, hola, back to you, sir. Good to see you. Muchas gracias. Thank you for being here. Anyway, Tim Shea, Cool Cat, we are switching them both over to XDC. For some of you guys who are new, when I went from like German accent to like Hispanic and so on, don't take it the wrong way. What it is, I used to be on an improv team. True story. I have a theater background and so on. I could legitimately do 22 impersonations. I'm not joking about that either. Various cartoon characters, various famous people, and so on. So it's part of my old theater background / improv background and so on. So I hope nobody like takes it the wrong way, like old school, like, oh dude, what are you doing, man? Haven't you checked out since 2016 with the latest rise of cancel culture? How dare you? I hope you get your channel shut down, man. Anyway. But it is what it is. All right, let me go further up. I'm sorry. Profit says H-bar is so fast, it's instant. Good to see you, Profit. I just mentioned you earlier. Can we get 30? And if anything, guys, if you love the show, please hit that like button. That's all we ask. It's not like we're asking for super chats left and right or anything like that. We just simply ask for you hit the like for the algorithm can be fed and get this out to more and more people. As you guys know, we try to feed the YouTube algorithm almost every single day by providing the three main things at once: a live show, recorded videos, shorts, and if anything, have people, of course, hit that like button, subscribe, and the bell notification. All right. Cool Cats, or Tim Shea says, Cool Cat, we are switching them both over to XDC. Okay. All right. Going further down. Let me see. I bought a ton of DAG yesterday. I've heard good things about it. I want to take more of a deeper dive into it. I took a little bit of a dive into it, but not like a proper deep dive. I owe it to myself to read the white paper, all that good stuff. Speaking of dives, Menelix says IOTA may outperform Casper based on being a DAG, but some assets are throttled back just like Hedera's H-bar. Oh, okay. Michael Montclair, ISO 222 is going to be the new standard. What was this all pre-planned? In some ways, it was. I mean, let's face it. I mean, even Gilbert Verdians mentioned the whole entire thing about ISO standard all the way back to 2014. Look into yourself. Even in the recorded section, we covered that quite a bit. So one could definitely argue that. Jose E. Detres, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Great job. Best crypto channel. Well, muchas gracias, senor. Mi amigo. Thank you so much for being here. Jose, I haven't seen you here before. That's a really great compliment. Thank you so much. Any questions, comments you have, feel free to drop it in the comments. Whether you're new to crypto or you're a seasoned veteran, guys, let's give Jose that warm welcome. Dag is cool stuff. I'm very impressed with it. I'll state this, everything that I've recognized from XDC and so on, that military grade, blockchain technology and so on. It's just like, you could say Dag is just as impressive. I don't know if it's that much more impressive, but at the end of the day, I think if anything, like how we recognize a lot of ISOs, they don't compete necessarily with each other. Each one has solid use case and they bring their own element, if you will, to the table. I'll rock a CTN hoodie. Huh. Okay. Right on. All right. Everyone may want to hold at least 10,000 Casper if your wallet allows it. Good point. We have about 30 people here. Thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Paul Rose says, thank you so much, Max. Just found you. Well, thanks so much. Drop in the comments how you found us. We're always interested to find out these particular analytics, especially myself, since I'm kind of an analytics guy, to be honest. But anyway, Mr. Lambo's Crypto Talks in the house. He said, Menelect. How about HBAR? How much HBAR should I hold? These are all great questions, you guys. Really appreciate all of this, audience interaction with each other. You guys got great comments. You're answering each other back, even off, crypto comments and so on. There's nothing wrong with that. At the end of the day, we got to live, breathe, have fun, right? Especially if you have the next couple, week or so off and so on, like I have Christmas break and whatnot. But anyway, Michael Montclair says, my new movie preview was on IMAX. It's crazy to see your head that big on the screen. Pre-release party. Huh. Yeah. All right. Let me see. Yeah, everybody say hello to Isaac again. It's been a while since he's been here. Jim B says he's going to buy SHIB in blocks of 250 million from time to time. Been more focused on the ISOs and consider Luna Classic my gamble scratch off. Yeah, a lot of people still look at it that way and so on. We have 33 people here. Can we get to 40? These will be some great numbers. And if anything, I'd like to see the momentum. And if anything, I mean, to go from where we're at when the show started to where we're at now is pretty flattering, and it's really nice. But Christmas, come on, guys, count your blessings, count them one by one. For me personally, I count my blessings. I see what God has done, and I cannot thank you guys enough for being here. It's a grind, but it's well worth it. I love talking about crypto. I love hearing other people's backgrounds when it comes to just that crypto, whether heck, even if it is people just strictly meme coins and so on and so forth, you all have something that you're passionately into. And if anything, talk about that. And that's what, crypto adoption should be all about, that conversation. All right. The Crypto Smith, aka Sean, says, what's up, Max? Good to see you, Sean. We need to have you at the Crypto Roundtable sometime, my friend. But good to see you, Sean. And by the way, for all the newcomers, if you don't know who Sean is, aka the Crypto Smith, another good content creator, passionate, and he provides, again, really good content. Last time he was here with us, we had a really good back and forth conversation. And looking forward to the next one, to be honest, whether you're over here or maybe one of us join you on your show. Profits here, but yeah, check them out, you guys. It's just the Crypto Smith, it's just the, and then Crypto Smith is one word, and then you'll find him instantly on your search if you're looking to follow him. Here's a familiar face, Mr. Crypto Winner. Yo. About half an hour into the show, so we're really going to kick it in here soon. I'm just kind of waiting for the late stragglers, if you will. I bet you can't do Pepe Le Pew. No, I cannot do Pepe Le Pew. I know that he's also part of the cancel culture, right? They canceled him out. How dare they, oh, you look so good to me. Welcome to Crypto Talk now. Cool cat. I can't do it. I can't do Pepe Le Pew. Anyway. Yeah. Let me see. HBAR is for sure the fastest. I've tested them all. Oh, okay. Crypto Boys, just in time for real news. Hashtag salute. I'm strong on Dovu and Dent. 2023 is the year to take profits. I think any year is the year to take profits, to say the least. But yeah, on certain ones, don't get me wrong, I will be holding a long, long time. There's even a couple I'm going to be marrying, if you will, like XRP, but for the most part, don't marry crypto unless it's specific ones like that. But you got to do what you got to do, not financial advice. All right, how about this? Rocky Romano, straight from the recorded, is here tonight with us all. Thank you so much for being here, Rocky. Good to see you. Really do appreciate it. I'll always recognize your comments. And thanks, man. It's just it's nice to see people cross over from the recorded to the live. All right, Jim B in the house, also saying he's watched many shows and a friend referred me to this one often. Who's the friend, man? I'd like to go ahead and give him a thank you or a Christmas card. How about that? Crypto McDizzle, Lollipop Guild in Cartman voice. Oh, geez. I don't know. There's only certain things I say Cartman, so I'm gonna say something like,
Daffy, you want to pet my kid? I like cheesy poops. Why don't you go to the Lollipop Guild? Crypto McDizzle.
dude, you can't freaking talk like that on a live show. Like, people are gonna leave. They want you to talk about crypto.
Get the hell up, Carl. I want to talk about freaking crypto. I'll freaking talk about Lollipop.
All right, there we go. Now everybody just left. Anyway. All right, Paula Rose. I typed in ALBT to see who was current because I saw it on Uphold, and that's how I found you. All right, right on, man. Lady, sorry. Crypto Puppet, Submax just added one more quant to the bag. That's awesome. Good to see you, Crypto Puppet. Like to welcome you as well. I guess it was great that we were covering ALBT and so on because we got quite a few people coming from that avenue, if you will. ALBT GitHub active. I think so. If anything, there's people dropping in code, if you will, with the repositories and whatnot. That's a good question though. Just going to recognize Cody Core. Thank you for being here. Crypto Puppet, same with you. BTC Pay has been a smooth rise through all the dips to 005 and 015. That's like a 3x. Huh. Nice. All right. Well, there's quite a few to get into. Yeah, you're very, very welcome. I need to do last minute Christmas shopping. Isn't that horrible? Yeah, I'm going to the places that are open till midnight tonight. Isn't that bad? This is so bad. It's bad. Why? Because Max wants to do more quant coverage. Max wants to do more recorded videos. Max don't have time to go out and do Christmas shopping. All right. Max is functioning when you say La France. Yeah, vive la France. Oui. Anyway. I'm thinking about. I could tell you're watching the recorded because I'm like Banque La France. Anyway. All right, I'll read this, and then I am going to kick it into our news. I need to because it's nice reading comments and stuff. It's really cool. But Jose E. Detrez, if I'm saying it right, I'm thinking about selling 75% of my Luna Classic and SHIB position for buying more XRP and Quant. Would like to listen to your opinion. My opinion is this, and I've always stated this before in the past, but I understand people got to do what they got to do. For me personally, I do not sell for a loss. I mean, you want to talk about being somebody, I am literally the DMV of crypto. I might as well just say it. Why? I'm one of those guys who will literally wait for my ticket. And that darn ticket says what? It says now serving Z999 in window number 999. And guess what? They just served the guy at B376. And I have to wait all darn day for them to get my number, if you get what I'm saying. So I'm a very patient person, and I just hate selling for a loss. I understand some of these might be a loss. Like, come on, Clifford Inu, are you kidding me? I finally found out they have a V2 migration, but I can't believe I'm talking about that. My opinion, don't sell for a loss. Because if anything, for Shiba Inu, Shibarium is coming out here soon. I don't think enough is going to happen between now and March to thread the needle monumentally for you to justify taking a loss. Now, if you're looking at it from the perspective of Max's Christmas and stuff like that, I have to make a decision because I feel as though this stuff is going to pump with the ISOs right now. And I'd rather become a multi-millionaire, if you will, compared to just making a few $100,000 and so on. And if that's the case, I understand. Right. Last year, basically, I turned, 10K into 120K. And that was my attitude. 120K is a heck of a lot more money than I normally make. So what should I do? And as a result, I put a lot of that back into crypto. And as a result, as part of my crypto journey, and that wasn't the best choice. Right. But again, it helped me better as an investor to recognize market conditions, so on and so forth. So for you personally, if you feel as though that's what you got to do, then that is what you got to do. I cannot officially give you financial advice, but I can let you know on some of the personal things that I'm doing and so on. That is a decision you're going to have to come to your own conclusion. But all I can say is this: please, by all means, you've done enough research to give you that conviction that you need to recognize what's going to happen. For a lot of people, let's face it, guys, let's be real about it, right? You look at March 20th, 2023 as the perfect time of buy the rumor, sell the news. Is it? Or will we see literally the flip of the switch and all this stuff just go absolutely parabolic? We're all waiting for it. Let's face it. And if anything, what will happen? And I'm not a fortune teller. Never have been, never will claim to be. But, we all have hopes and dreams like anything. For me personally, I'm still convicted about Shiba Inu. I have a portfolio of close to 50 different projects. Some of those are the ISOs, some of them aren't, like Shiba Inu and so on. But I don't want to sell for loss. I'm still up on my SHIB, don't get me wrong. But it'd be very unwise for me to just jump ship and say, you know what, I'm going to take in that particular amount of money, which is in the thousands, right? And then I'm taking that money and I'm just going to put it all into XRP. But people do it. People move their money from one asset to the other because they recognize the opportunity. And if that's what you got to do, then that's what you got to do. I appreciate the question. All right, Crypto Winner. What's up, guys? Listening to you guys. Much love and respect. As usual, great show, great vibes. Thank you so much. All right. So we got a lot of good prompts tonight. And if I skip a lot of comments and so on, it's nothing personal. I will read this one, though. I just dumped 2 million Luna Classic on Uphold to ALBT. I still got 45 million Luna Classic on Uphold. So I'm good. You know what? How about this? That's a good way of going about it. Don't dump your whole position. Maybe do the Mike Cornwell, aka Crypto McDizzle for Shizzle Manizzle for show, and you basically do it that way. You know what I mean? That kind of justifies it, right? He's not saying to hell with Luna Classic. No, are you kidding me? I know Mike Cornwell. He's passionate about Luna Classic, right? So he's just taking a little bit and also recognizing that maybe ALBT is something he needs to get a little bit more of, or a position. I don't know the case be. And I think that's a good way to go about it. So maybe you listen to Mike Cornwell on his financial advice. All right. I'll read this too. Jim B, crypto is all about the journey. I lost and have 10K tied up on Fifth Voyager right now and just hoping that Binance pulls through. Yeah, it is all about the journey. I mean, so many other people, I have people I met, for instance, like they'd be like, I put in $100,000 reinvested into crypto and so on. Like for me personally, it was about 52K reinvested between January and February at the beginning of this year. Can you imagine how much better it would have been if I would have waited after like the Luna collapse and so on, or for instance after FTX and whatnot? But you just don't know these things. Again, it's part of that journey. All right. Crypto Puppet says, Max, I think 2023 will be a little baby bull run, but then go down till mid 2024 and say 2023 is good for loading your bags. Yes, I do think it's still good for loading your bags, but I will state this: the beginning of 2023, from now to the beginning of 2023, is a good time to load our bags. Not financial advice. That's just what I'm personally doing. Because I think, if anything, by late March, it could very well be the perfect case of buy the rumor, sell the news, because of that ISO 222 mandate. That's where this whole thing of flipping the switch comes in. It's a lot of money, institutional money, not retail money. But anyway, teach his own. Mental Act. I enjoy the process of wealth accumulation, so my patience is virtually unlimited. Same here. But I hope others get rich or richer sooner over later. I totally agree. We agree with that. All right, this comment, and then we are going to kick it into the actual news. Crypto McDizzle. Sometimes I go clean up my portfolio and get more rounded numbers. Move a little from a few to where I can't, then to be, I think you got chopped off. All right. So thank you for that. Gonna go ahead and share some of this. I was going to put out a Quant video earlier today, but I decided to save it for later. I do apologize on the last Quant video to anybody who watched it all the way through. My girlfriend was working from home at that time, and while I was putting on the noise cancellation settings, and I do have a studio mic, by the way. I'm not one of those content creators where you see it all up in my face and stuff like that. It's here. I don't need to have people verify it. But my point is, by doing the cancellation settings, it kind of, ruined the quality, I guess you say, at the end of the video. Somebody pointed out, but in the future, I decided I'm not going to let that happen again. And I owe it to everybody to make sure I put out the best quality content that I can. And so I do apologize for that. But yeah, let's get right into it. So for instance, going to highlight that and we'll get back to it in a second. So I have some LCX news, but before we get into that, we do have to recognize what happened today in the world of crypto and headline news in regards to, Sweet Caroline, bomb, bomb, bomb. Here we go. So some of you guys saw this, some of you didn't, but whatever the case be, this made it, of course, to the New York Post. Shout out to Crypto Winner in New York. So, for instance, let me go ahead and highlight this again. It says lawyers explain why Sam Bankman-Fried has no easy path forward after possible flip of ex-lover Caroline Ellison. Larry put out a short earlier today, basically informing people that Sam Bankman-Fried he did make bond. His parents put up the $250 million, $250 million, in which he is now in their custody. Be interesting to see how that pans out. And it's also interesting to see what possible connection they have to everything that's recently happened. Now I'll play some of this. It's not that long. It just shows 37 seconds of Sam Bankman-Fried basically coming out of this courthouse in New York. Just look at it for yourself. Pretty crazy. Of course, paparazzi, media is all up in his face.
No, out, 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 out.
This happened earlier today.
Out. I'll be down the driveway. Don't hit on the property. You know that. On the side. Yo, you can't go on the property, guys. But you gotta let him out. You gotta let him out. You gotta let him out. Sam, let him out.
All right. Just kind of wanted to show that brief clip. I want to get into, for instance, this particular article. I'm going to blow it up a little bit. And of course, we'll, hear some of your comments about it. So I know that some of you guys are probably getting worn out with this. Some of you guys aren't, but it is headline news, if you will. And we got to start things off with some particular headlines. So it says, disgraced crypto bro, really? He's no bro of mine. Sam Bankman-Fried has no easy path forward after his ex-girlfriend, who happens to be Caroline Ellison. Hold on a second. Let me see if I'm not muted. I would hate to be muted. Caroline Ellison basically appears to have flipped on him, right? Probably because, a prosecutor came down on her real hard and said, look, if you don't own up to this, we're just going to keep you locked up forever. And then she just basically starts singing a song. You know how it goes. But she cooperated, of course, with the feds. Ellison, who is 28 years old, of course, as we know, is the former CEO of Alameda Research, which is a crypto hedge fund company. And she has also had an intimate relationship with Sam Bankman-Fried and so on. We get the gist. Anyway, further down, it says Manhattan U.S. Attorney Damian Williams announced Wednesday that math whiz and Harry Potter fan Ellison and Gary Wang, a co-founder of FTX, have pleaded, of course, guilty to the fraud. Again, Larry put out some shorts about it and so on. So that's what's going on with it. Now, in regards to her specific charges, if you're kind of late to the show on this, it's okay. Again, we're filling you in. Ellison, this lady at the bottom, is charged with documents to show that she could face up to 110 years in prison. And I imagine with her pleading guilty on all this, she probably took, again, a plea deal, right? What would that plea deal entail? And I think, if anything, I'm going to go ahead and call it right now. And a lot of you guys probably call it as we speak. And that is this. Think about this. She sings the tune for Sam Bankman-Fried and maybe a few others, maybe even his particular parents. I don't know the particular connection, but if anything, I think we're going to find out a little bit more in regards to other people that have a play into this. Why? Because that will be a lesser sentence for the likes of her and so on. Some of these people that never experienced any particular never served any particular time and so on. They don't understand the whole concept of snitches get stitches and all that stuff. All they understand is prison ain't for them. They don't want to be there. So they're going to start singing that song, if you will. But anyway, how about this quote right here? And of course, we'll get back into comments here briefly. Almost invariably, people say, at the end of the day, I have to look out for my interests or my family's interests, even if I don't relish on what I'm being asked to do. Jack Sharman, a white-collar criminal defense attorney for Lightfoot, Franklin, and White, told the Post. There again is Caroline Ellison. And with that said, it says, since the FTX scandal broke, Ellison, daughter of MIT economics professor, has attempted to keep a low profile. I don't agree with this. Not too low profile. She was out getting coffee a week ago. Is that really keeping low profile? Anyway, only allegedly surfacing public wants to grab a coffee. All right, I just literally called that, right? Previously, Stanford graduate Ellison had lived between the Bahamas, where FTX rented in a luxurious penthouse, and Hong Kong, where she, Bankman-Fried, and a group of their friends had moved to trade crypto in 2018. And keep in mind, if you're old school, again, I'll use this particular label, if you will. It reminds me of like the whole David Koresh thing, the Branch Davidians, if you will. They're drinking the Kool-Aid. They all live together. They all sleep together. They have this weird romantic relationship together, and at the price of billions of dollars of FTX investor money, to say the least. There's a little bit more in regards to this, and of course, you could read up more about it, but look at this particular quote. When I first started my foray into poly, and I did that, read that right. I didn't say the other thing. I thought of it as a radical break from my traditional past, Ellison allegedly wrote in the Tumblr entry. But to be honest, I've come to decide that only acceptable style of poly is best characterized as something like Imperial Chinese harem. Isn't that convenient? She added, none of this non-hierarchical bullish. Everyone should have a ranking of their partners. People should know where they fall on the ranking, and there should be vicious power struggles for the higher ranks. Like, doesn't this sound like some kind of conspiracy theorist nut? Not that I'm against a lot of conspiracy theories. God knows I've been to, Dallas, literally been to the JFK Museum and so on. And don't get me wrong, like, there's legitimate conspiracy theories, and then there's just absolute bat crazy type people like this one. Last but not least, before we get further into it, it says that is a consequence of the recent play by both Ellison and Wang, because they will undermine likely many of his defenses or arguments that they were in charge or doing things without his knowledge. People ain't going to go for it. Higher ups ain't going to go for, oh God, I'm going further down. But if anything, they're going to keep trying to sell people that they're dumb. At the end of the day, they're going to play dumb. It didn't work out for SBF. Will it work out for them? That's what I'm asking you as an audience. Share in the comments. Let me know. Is playing dumb going to work out? Is somebody going to spill the beans 100%? All right, here we go. All right, back into the comments. Let's see who we got next. All right, let's go further down. We got Menelik. It says, we all buy in an imperfect times. Yeah. He bought 100K XDC at about 20 cents. Missed the bottom. Okay, good point. But if anything, you're DCAing to kind of offset probably. Or you're satisfied with the 100,000. You're like, I'm into it long term. I respect that. Crypto winner. Around this time in 2019, Bitcoin was 85.67. There is something off in the cycle that I can't put my hands on. Why are we going sideways for so long and not dropping to the 14K to complete the catapult? Or maybe I said that wrong. Anyway. She is sweet as sugar. Yeah, I don't want to see that blankety blank tape. I'm good. I know some people from the D-gens, if you will, were talking about that. Somebody threatening them to post the whole tape between her and SPF. It's like, really? I'm just, that doesn't do anything for me. It just makes me want to kind of throw up, to be honest, but to each his own. Tim Shea, Humpty, until we have peace or some other macro event, I think the sideways continues. Yeah, I will take sideways action compared to just drastic falls off the cliff, if you will. I mean, if we're going to justify it. Cool Cat, do you see the toes? Ooh, hair's still effed up. Haha, the toes. Oh my goodness, we're talking about her. I was like, well, obviously. Sam Bateman Free is a distraction, but the perp walk was interesting theatrics. Yeah. Don't think I saw. All right, let me go further down. Let me see. I'm just skip some ones. Crypto McDizzle. Caroline Ellison has ties to Gary Gensler, etc. Her dad. Yeah, I think so. I mean, we've seen the whole thing where it has the lineup, if you will. Well, not the like a real police lineup, but like, you know, so the Hollywood squares, the FTX, squares, if you will. Yeah, I think Gensler's involved too because I mean the MIT connection. SBF is an asset to anyone who enjoys buying the crashes FTX ushers in. Yeah, and the latest thing basically was that supposedly was it Gensler is going to go after or label, for instance, FTT, the FTT token as actually being a security. So darn well if that's the case, that's going to tank even that much more. Do we get distressed assets? Is it now distressed asset season all over again? For instance, how things went with VGX. Then we did Celsius. I didn't get in Celsius, but I mean, it's still on my list of distressed assets, if you will. Yep, MIT. She looks like a troll. Well, yeah. I mean, like perfect for Harry Potter, right? Metal Light Prisoners Dilemma won't apply with FTX executives. Well, he'll probably, SBF. I mean, if he does go back to prison and so on, even if he gets a max sentence or something, they're probably just going to put him in minimum security. But I don't know. Coochie Boy says, word is they won't charge you with the 7 counts as part of the plea bargain. Yeah, I imagine. Because she's probably going to spill the beans on some other people. And then it's going to be crazy. Mental, like grabbing coffee could have been their last free drink. Probably. That's a good point. Maybe she was just like, man, I'm never going to be able to taste a mocha latte with a shot of espresso ever again. I might as well get it now because I'm never going to get it in prison. I don't know. All right. She kind of does. I agree, Salamander. Good to see you, Salamander. The crypto community is filled with conspiracy theorists and asymmetrical free thinker. I probably not pronounced that right. Sorry. Yeah, good point though. They are both home for the holidays. Mr. Watch Dude is in the house. He says, "What's good, Max? A CTM fan. Thank you for being here, Mr. Watch Dude. What's good is we're basically just kind of tuning into some of these, highlights that happened earlier with the whole FTX debacle. Crypto Winter, if anyone here is holding Luna Classic, I recommend you download the Cosmos Hub app and buy some Atom and start voting on Luna Classic. I can't keep Luna Classic running by myself." Okay. Thanks for the info though. Crypto McDizzle for shizzle manizzle for show. He says, "Lol. Oh my god, I'm going further." Was that a Arby's commercial? I don't know. Coochie Boy Wang acknowledged that he wrote the backdoor code and has also a plea guilt. Oh, geez. Here's the thing, right? So there's plea bargains, as we know, in which a person will freaking sing that, the prison blues, if you will, or, just sing like a bird and spill everything. And then it exposes other people. Then there's the whole thing of just being darn right where, you plan this out, blatantly speaking. Kind of like if you think about somebody, what was it? Hence why we have different murder charges, right? So, murder in the first degree, but, it was thought out and so on. The ones that thought it out compared to one, it just, kills a person, for instance, based on, I guess you could say, aggravation compared to pre-aggravated, right? You're going to get way more of a sentence. So the way I look at it when it comes to this particular guy with Wang, there's got to be something said there. I mean, I think if anything, we talk about some of these people get off the hook, right? She gets off the hook for the most part, right? Especially she has legit info on a lot of people, you know what I mean? With that particular plea deal, obviously we don't know what the plea deal is. We'll have to find out here whenever that unfolds. But when it comes to weighing, I just think honestly, if we're gonna, narrow it down and point to one person of all this group of people, right? There's gonna be more. I think if anything, they will pick him out of the group and say, look, this guy at least gets it. Like we're gonna slap the, we're gonna throw the book at him personally. That's just how I look at it. Because I mean, he blatantly wrote that. Come on, that would make sense to me. All right, where's the money, SBF, and where's Mr. Wonderful? I don't know. Mr. Wonderful is gonna be out of prison as long as he could possibly be, I guess. Oh my God, that would be something you couldn't unsee. Caroline and SBF. Yeah, I don't want to see it. So, how about this? I mean, I shouldn't even mention this because it's disgusting. So, like, I think for a lot of us, hopefully not the younger guys, because I mean, God, I hope not. So, at some point in your life, whether you liked it or not, somebody, either in your family or friend, probably a friend, right? A degenerate friend, right? Showed you, 2 girls, 1 cup. You didn't know what it was. I think this is the next moment for 2 girls, 1 cup. It's basically Sam Bankman-Fried and Caroline Ellison. I'm just going to leave it at that. All right, moving on. Crypto winner, I voted for Luna Classic to get their millions back that were being held inside of the Cosmos Hub network. And we are voting on more things to come for Luna Classic, and we can vote for Luna Classic. Vote Luna Classic to hell. Huh, okay. Big Watch, I want to vomit thinking about them being, it's just, I'm good. Yeah. All right. With all its FUD, DeFi looks like the future. Menelec, XRP whale wallets skyrocketed since FTX crashed. It's almost if whales were pre-positioned to buy XRP, the price. All right, I'm going to go ahead and just highlight this next one with Salamander, and I'm going to kick it into the next part of our coverage. So let me go ahead and get to it. And let's see here. It was in regards to the whole thing with Sam Bankman-Fried, but if anything, I'm going to get into this next part. It is with LCX. So let me pull it up in a way for you can see it. And, I should have tagged this, but it's okay. So here we go. And so it's kind of like what you see right here. Actually, right here. Sorry. It says it's not a question if, the question is when. LCX. And I'm becoming more and more impressed with LCX. I know you guys have really been into this for a while. LCX has been one that's been on my watch list for a while, but it's actually becoming one that's like now on my short list, if you will. And look at this, for instance. This is a poster from the World Economic Forum. I know, I get it. Not everybody's a big fan of them, especially Mr. Klaus Schwab. So look at this particular one. This basically just narrows it down right in a nutshell. LCX, a blockchain bank for the new financial world. LCX's goal is to become one of the world's first licensed and supervised blockchain banks, seamlessly blending traditional and crypto assets. LCX will be offering a next generation digital asset exchange, a security token exchange, crypto asset financial products and services. LCX is focused on helping both traditional and blockchain market participants make the most of opportunities arising from the growth of cryptocurrencies and tokenized assets. LCX was founded in 2018 and is based in Vaduz, Liechtenstein. LCX is building the infrastructure to power professional crypto finance. Now, I'll say this much. We're going to get a little bit more into this, but everything I found out from, a few months ago, and especially as of recently, look, I'm not really flooding anybody's bag. I want to state this, okay? And maybe people aren't going to like me saying this, but this is how I personally feel, all right? I have in this day and age, come on. People have freedom of thought, right? It's being violated, if you will, right? There's a lot of that going on, especially in the modern era of cancel culture. So here's my freedom of thought and my own personal analogy. Comparing LCX to terrarium is like comparing a diamond to a horse turd, both the same size. Take it as you will. Yeah. All right. Next, we have a little bit more in regards to LCX news. So, for instance, this was published on December 20th, straight from Bloomberg. All right. Not exactly, community-driven news, but come on, Bloomberg is a pretty big outlet. I do like to provide both community and sometimes mainstream news. So roughly yesterday, it says specifically LCX becomes first physical validator. I'm going to blow this up a little more because I want you guys to see this because this is big. I mean, this is a good quality exchange, if you will. Think about if you got into terrarium. Some of you guys made some good money with terrarium. Don't get me wrong. I would never doubt that, right? I think if anything, they had their time. Okay. So it says LCX becomes first physical validator in Liechtenstein and globally. Vaduz Liechtenstein, December 20, 2022, Globe Newswire. This is the original source. Of course, Bloomberg basically reshared it. It says LCX, a leading blockchain and cryptocurrency company, is pleased to announce that it has received, listen to this, regulatory approval as a physical validator according to the Liechtenstein Blockchain Act, TVTG. This makes LCX the first and only company in Liechtenstein, as well as the first company worldwide to attain this registration. Without even reading the rest of this or getting more into this, some of you guys may already know about this, but without even getting more into it, this is just extremely bullish to me. I'm just being flat out honest. So if you recognized, I got into terrarium because they could bring a whole new element to DeFi, if you will, by becoming their own exchange. This is a legitimate exchange, and they bring a hell of a lot more than what terrarium could ever bring. Maybe some people don't want to hear that. All right, so it says, as a physical validator, LCX is responsible for maintaining the integrity and security of the tokenized assets on the blockchain. This involves verifying the authenticity of underlying assets and the physical safekeeping of the real-world assets. The role of physical validator is critical to the overall health and stability of the blockchain industry, as it helps to prevent fraud and other malicious activities. Listen to this. As the first physical validator in Liechtenstein and globally, we are proud to take on this important responsibility and contribute to the growth and stability of the blockchain industry. At LCX, we're committed to driving innovation and adoption through projects like Tiamens, tokenizing real-world diamonds as NFTs. Are you kidding me? I don't follow NFTs as much as some of you guys do and so on, but that sounds amazing. It says, we are excited to continue our dedication to compliance and expanding our reach in the coming year, says Monty CM Metzger, who is the CEO of just that LCX. And oh, by the way, if you've been following our Quant coverage, the last Quant video, you see a particular interview with the likes of Gilbert Verdian, Quant CEO, talking specifically to Monty CM Metzger, CEO of LCX. All right. Quant's already on board. They have been. All right. So it says the Tiamens project by LCX demonstrates the potential for tokenizing physical assets. Tiamens, or Tiamens, I should say, is a platform for tokenizing diamonds, allowing investors to purchase and trade diamond assets using blockchain technologies. Anybody else doing this right now? Are you not that much more bullish? I'm not a guy to try to really hype people up. I think I have that reputation. I'll be honest. I'm hyped by this. And if anything, I will cover LCX. I'm going to do two things. I'll start with a deep dive and also like a short review, if you will. And then on top of that, I think we cover updates on LCX. I know the guys got the poll about should we cover LCX and so on. It didn't get first place. I think first place on that particular poll was who was it? It was not Algo. I don't know when you guys remember, but anyway, it was Hedera's H-bar, right? So we are going to do some of those ones, but LCX is definitely one we're going to do as well. Anyway, I'm gonna get more into this, not all of it, but look at this. It says tokenizing ownership rights to a diamond is an example of bringing a physical real-world asset online. In this case, a physical validator is responsible for ensuring that the diamond exists, ensuring that it's securely stored. As a regulated and liable party, the physical validator plays a critical role in maintaining the integrity and security of the tokenization process. Remember a while back, we talked about this. We basically said, watch out for instance, at the end of 2022, going into 2023, if you've been watching our shows like all the time, you do remember me mentioning this. I mentioned specifically the tokenization of anything and everything. And I even called it like what Charlie Shrem of Investor Place refers to it. By the way, he's one of the founders of the Bitcoin Foundation. He's in at Bitcoin at $5. But like he mentioned, MATs, not NFTs, MATs, mass adoption tokens. What ones are there? Here's a perfect example with LCX. And on top of that, I talked about, for instance, Audius and so on. You're going to see more and more of these types of things happening. If anything, LCX stands out. There's a lot more in regards to this. I highly recommend you check it out for yourself. Just simply look up today's LCX news. Look at the Bloomberg article. It takes you right to there. I'm very, very bullish on LCX. Love to hear what you guys think in regards to this recent news. Going to kick it back into the comments. And if anything, thank you so much for joining us here at Crypto Talk Now. Rob G, you crossed over, my friend. Yes, you crossed over from the recorded to the live. Yes. Oh, man, that's awesome. That makes me so happy, Rob. Good to see you guys. Rob G is a guy who follows us on Quant, some of the XRP coverage and so on, but he was from the recorded. And to see another familiar face from the recorded, that makes me so incredibly happy. So really, really good to see you, Rob. You know, you're always been more than encouraging and so on. Guys, please, I'm asking you kindly, give Rob G that warm Crypto Talk Now network welcome. He jumped from recorded to live. We're going to have to come up with an expression for that label or whatever the case be. You know, this guy jumped or he jumped or something. I don't know. Cool Cat Crypto says, vote on McClassic. All right, Abdi Omar, another guy did that transition from recorded to live. He says, Max, my man, I see a lot of YouTubers, they upload video with positive news and then they pots again with some coin saying, I changed my mind, KKK, that how we know bad YouTuber who is to make money for viewers. I would say for the most part, we don't really do that. I will state this, when bull market comes, okay, there will be, of course, some AMAs that will come back in here. And I will state for the record, myself and Larry and so on, and that is we'll let whoever wants, for instance, share what they need to share and so on. And of course, if it happens to be one I'll personally get into, I'll state, yeah, hey, I personally got into it and so on. But we will do, of course, you know, paid AMAs. I mean, why not? I mean, you know, if anything, we want to share that with the community. And if anything on top of that, right, as content creators, we do want to, for instance, just like anybody, make some money and so on. But as far as official endorsement, no, it's basically the project comes in, we allow them to share what they need. And then our attitude is we put the ball in the court of you guys who happen to be maybe potential investors and so on. We're not saying, for instance, hey, go out, guys, and buy this, you know, because that would be financial advice. AMAs is basically set up for that. Ask me anything. You guys could choose to ask whatever questions you want. As far as the project answering all the questions, that's basically, you know, that's on them. That's not necessarily on us. But yeah, it is unfortunate. You do see a lot of projects out there and so on. I mean, like even myself, you know, like, you know, why the heck did I get into Clifford Inu? Are you kidding me? You know, yeah, I'm going to migrate my tokens to V2. Why? Because I put $1,400 into that garbage. You know what I mean? So again, part of my particular crypto journey, I'm not perfect. Yeah, I passionately talk about some of these ISOs and so on, but yeah, I got into a bunch of meme coins late last year and earlier into like this year. But after, you know, I got more into the likes of, you know, some solid projects, you know, Quant, XRP, XLM, XDC, and so on. I never look back. So, but thank you for that comment, Abdi. Cool Cat says, if I were Asian, I would want my name to be Wang. Huh. Well, I'm part Asian. I don't take offense to that because I am not. I'm from the old school of. I'm from the old school of like, you know, movies of, you know, was it Blazing Saddles and you know, stuff like that, man. You know, where it's just like there was a time where things used to be funny and people didn't get, you know, all offended about a bunch of crap. And with cancel culture nowadays, that's just the sad reality of it and so on. There's and how about this? Like we always mentioned before, can we please get back to where we can agree to disagree? Again, like don't attack the messenger, if you will. You can attack the argument, just don't attack the messenger. But it's the way it is nowadays. and it sucks, and I don't have to like it. But yeah, that's a good point. Anyway, Crypto McDizzle. The Arby's commercial referred to when you was scrolling down and Caroline Ellison clam shot almost. Sorry. Sometimes, some things kind of strike me. Yeah, I mean, yeah, clam shot. I mean, that's a good one. That's a good one. I like that. I might have to steal that from you. I have a few buddies who they like to refer to certain things. So, clam shot it is. All right. It almost happened. Okay, hello. You came to the comment like 10 minutes. Hashtag clam shot, huh? All right. That's horrible. John Wang. Yeah. All right. Said John Wick, John Wang. Oh man. All right. Caroline margin account was allowed to run free and it was negative over 1.5 billion. Okay, says Coochie Boy. Yeah, there is an engineer I work on the base. His name is Long Dog. Man, you guys are horrible. Man, Crypto Winter. I told you guys in June that Sam Bankman was behind all this crap. CoffeeZilla interviewed him back in February, and Sam described DeFi as a pyramid scheme. Huh. Good point. All right, great flick. 16 Candles. Yeah, all those old 80s movies. Rest in peace, John Hughes. I mean, one of the best. Yeah, man. What's her name from Weird Science that used to be married to Steven Seagal? Kelly LeBrock, right? Man, she was something smoking hot back in the day. Anyway. Excuse me. All right. Crypto Winter says, I'm not surprised on this year. Made more money than last year in crypto. Just in December alone, I made almost 3,000 in crypto with 400 bucks. That's awesome, man. I'm glad to see it, my friend. Remember we were doing that whole thing of like I said, it's not like measuring contest, right? With our portfolios, but you got me beat on that this time around, my friend. So that's good. I'm glad to see it. 80s movies was the best. A lot of them were, man. I miss the style of it and so on. I even miss like 80s cop shows, Miami Vice. How about this one, Hunter? I used to watch Hunter with my parents back in the day. Hunter and McCall. Man, you want to talk about a hottie? McCall, man, she was something else. All right, Menelect. I held a bag of LCX for some time. It's promising. Cool. Good to see. Hey, that looks pretty good. Now fix yourself. One. Yeah. Blue Whale Ricky. I wonder how he's doing. He says he saw me make almost $2,000 on the fly, as well as a few months ago. Great times, but moving forward, things are shaky. Yeah. Another great Bill Paxton movie. Okay. Badir, you can short on long leverage up to 200x on MEXC. Yeah. Badir definitely knows about shorting. Oh, this comment. LCX is probably the world's most regulatory compliant exchange globally with at least 7 licenses. Yeah, I mean, again, some big people might look at like, Max, don't fund my terrarium. Well, they kind of did to themselves, right? I mean, and I get it. We're talking about one that is supposed to be true, like a low market cap, new centralized exchange compared to the likes of LCX. I mean, I understand the debate. Maybe people say, well, Max, that's basically apples and oranges, but it is a fair comparison. If you're going to spend your money on something like that, why wouldn't you want to get into something more quality like LCX? And it's not like LCX is like $100 a coin, So anyway. Abdi Omar says, Crypto Winner, no disrespect. I do Quant whale since, or him. All right, since 2018. I make 2021 September 4 million. Just chill out, my friend. Okay, that's between you and him. I think if anything, Crypto Winner does like Quant, but anyway, I'll say this much, you guys. Always try to give each other the benefit of the doubt. Especially around the holidays. You gotta. All right, I swear, man. All right, Rob G, good to see you, man. I'm always at work when you're live, Max. Oh, okay. So you probably were just maybe tuning in on your break or something, or your lunch break. Huh. Oh, you're quoting the movie. That's cool. No, I haven't done it quite like that. That sounds interesting. All right. Yeah. Last year it sucked for me. I didn't do good, even though it was a bull market, but I only listened to YouTuber. Now I'm a beast. Huh. Abdi Omar, not you, Max. You always positive. Oh, I gotta be. I mean, but thank you. Have you always wondered how sad it is that your sons only? Oh my goodness. Yeah, another movie quote. All right. Man. Oh, jeez. All right. Man, you guys got some good ones. All right. A big watch do. Thank you, Crypto Winner, and happy holidays to you and yours too. Yep. Kelly LeBrock was she was, man. She was really hot in that movie, and she was even, I'm gonna say she was just as hot, but I mean, obviously Weird Science was where she stood out. But how about this? Steven Seagal's Hard to Kill. That was one of my favorite Steven Seagal movies. She was pretty freaking hot in that too. So I guess that's how they met. What would you two maniacs like to do first? You like Magnum PI? I mean, I thought it was all right. I always preferred Magnum. Sorry, Miami Vice. By the way, if you're a big Miami Vice fan, the last remaster that they did with the proper Blu-ray format, they finally got it right. It doesn't look all crappy. It looks really, really good. It's almost like watching a whole brand new show, if you will. It's a proper remaster, and they did a very good job on it. Cool Cat Crypto Paxton was the original Terminator. He played one of the punks at the start. What? Really? Huh. All right. Let me see. Okay, you're on your break. That's good, man. We were on a break. All right. Must have been a big, huh. I'm going to go ahead and highlight that. It's the last one. We're going to kick it into the next part of our coverage that we have here for you guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the LCX coverage. I want to basically show you guys something. You've probably already seen it, but I'm going to go ahead and present it anyway. So I retweeted this a while back. I was talking about how huge the whole thing is with R3 Corda, especially with that, the XDC bridge, right? It's massive, right? And, if anything, a picture speaks 1,000 words, as the saying goes. So, for instance, you do see on the top right, I know this is the max I could blow it up, unfortunately, for this particular software, but you see these particular Corda nodes, right? And then from there, you have, for instance, the open API. You go to Web3 Corda, then, Java's tied into that. We won't get into Java right now, but, let's face it. If it wasn't for Java, you guys wouldn't be watching me on YouTube. Let's just be honest about it. But that's the story for another day. But anyway, so you got some of these Corda nodes, and it goes all the way over to here, right? Core decentralized apps, core distributed applications go in here. Look at all the industries that this is tied into, right? I mean, oh man, we're talking, supply chain, we're talking logistics, we're talking, for instance, the financial sectors. We're talking about, I mean, even medical, hell, even freaking satellite communications, and so on. And how XDC is tied into that is because of that R3 Corda bridge. When I say, for instance, and you guys have said it too, some of the other guys that have been into XDC longer than I have, right? That R3 Corda bridge with XDC is beyond massive, right? So you got, for instance, the optional instant settlement mechanism on Corda. You have the XDC Corda distributed ledger technology. You have Corda's DLT platform. Again, look at how this is all tied in. And then from here on the top left, look at how this plugs in literally like everything, right? So from there, Impels runs on XDC Net, Zenfin. You go to the hybrid blockchain to, of course, Cool Cat Crypto's favorite, Ethereum, right? But, they do plug in legacy systems and so on. So you have all those ERC20 plus EVM smart contracts, even Solana, if you're a fan of it or not, it plugs in the SPL plus smart contracts on Solana. Remember, for the longest time, I mean, you had Ethereum and Solana kind of like the neck and neck battle, if you will. for 2021. I get it. Solana's taken a big fat dump since then. But again, you see where everything is literally connected. I mean, how about this right in the middle on this other particular plug, right? So if you got trade finance built on XDC net, and then especially over here on the bottom middle / bottom left, you have R3 Corda, for instance. DTCC enables DTCC and Swift with just that ISO 222 standards on Corda and accelerate instant settlement possibility. And then it don't even end there. You have, for instance, R3 Corda again with XDC plugs in right to SBI Holdings. Hell, even Ripple Asia, then Ripple itself, XRP, and just that. Look at what's right behind XRP with the CBDCs. And then we forgot to mention the whole thing with BIS. I mean, you get the gist. It's just that, let's face it, it's not going to be as zoomed in for me as it is for you. Or I should say for you as it is for me. I do want to recognize this BIS. So a lot of times BIS does get brought up. It says R3 provides a ready-made network to integrate programmable money that can interoperate with currencies across different central bank networks. Look at some of the BIS projects, and this again is just tip of the iceberg, if you will. So on the last Quant video, we talked about the whole thing with, for instance, the Banque de France, right? So you have literally that right there, SMB, BNS. I did talk briefly about the whole thing with Jura the other day on the Quant video. Crypto Lulu's always talking about Project Dunbar. Look at this. Look how it's all connected. XDC, guys, you already know the deal. One of the most, if not the most underrated of the ISOs by far. Undervalued, underrated, to say the least. All right, kick it back into the comments just briefly and then come back. So let's see here. We have, who's next? Cool Cat Crypto states it was either Miami Vice or Magnum. Back then I was a Magnum. That's fine. Yeah, my mom was a big fan of Tom Selleck's Magnum PI. I don't know. I never got really into it. Maybe it was because I was just too young at the time. I don't know. I might start watching reruns of it. I know a lot of people are not big fans of the new Miami Vice. I saw a little bit of it. I was a big fan of the new Hawaii 5.0. I actually liked it better than the original Hawaii 5.0. Big Watch Dude says he loves Miami Vice, or loved it. Couldn't leave the house on Friday nights until it was over. Yeah, it was just so iconic, man. I mean, heck, even when Bruce Willis was on it, quite a few stars were on it. Grizzly Bear Greg says hello, everyone. Good to see Grizzly Bear Greg. Paxton was the only actor that killed a Terminator, Predator, and Alien. Huh. Coochie Boy, is there any truth to Coinbase loading up on Luna Classic? Man, I've been hearing about that for a while. I mean, I would love to hear if there was truth. I wish I had that info. I'll tell you this much. If I had the info on it, I'd probably just do a video on it. I know I haven't done a Luna Classic video in a while. It's not that we've given up on Luna Classic. It's just, it's also becoming too saturated. You know what I mean? So as a content creator, you could literally get into situations where it's just some markets, if you will, is too saturated. Perfect example, Shiba Inu. I would love to be, are you kidding me? With the money I made last year with Shiba Inu, you would think I would be doing a SHIB video every day, right? If I did, I'd be lucky to get like 40 views. You know what I mean? It's sad, but that's just the reality. It's just too saturated with content creators. And to a sense, Luna Classic was kind of getting that way for a while. You know what I mean? I mean, nothing against Classic Crypto. I think he's doing a great job, with his coverage. There's other guys obviously covering it literally daily, 2-bit, right, and so on. We've had a decent amount of reception from it. Like, I think, it's up there with our Quant as far as subscribers and so on. It's just, again, it's just a little bit too saturated for us. But any breaking news or anything like that, heck yeah, we'll share with you guys. But yeah, that is a good question. Does anybody have the answer to that? Is there any truth to Coinbase loading up on Luna Classic? Come on, man. I mean, this is something that's been mentioned for a while. You see literally tweets mentioned all the time for people pushing the whole thing of, come on, Coinbase, list Luna Classic and so on. But I don't know, man. How about this? I'm with Mike Cornwell on this. Come on, Coinbase. Stop. What are you going to do about all the stolen, wrapped Luna Classic? Is that ever going to be resolved? Right? I mean, seriously. Not to mention some other things that they pulled. Yeah. All right. My Friday nights in the late 70s, early 80s was Dukes of Hazzard and Dallas. Yeah, I mean, Dukes of Hazzard was fun. Never got into Dallas. I think my mom used to watch that, but Dukes of Hazzard was fun. Ah, yes, the Dukes. Yes. Hey, I mean, let's face it. I mean, are we ever going to see Dukes of Hazzard on reruns anymore because of cancel culture? I mean, come on, man. All right. Cool Cat Crypto Jr. is the greatest soap opera villain of all time. 60,000 XDC. Yeah, dude. That's what you got? That sounds like that's awesome, man. You got me beat. That's really cool. All right. It's like a Darth Vader without powers. Huh. All right, I'll read the next couple ones and we'll get into some of the rest of our coverage. I know that we're approaching about an hour and a half, but I still have some more I want to get into with you guys. So Big Watch Dude says, "Hey Max, what about New York Undercover Cosby Show?" Oh, I'm so glad you brought that up. All right, I'll be honest with you guys. New York Undercover for a 90s show, that is probably my all-time favorite. It had a style to it like none other. I did see, for instance, that they were going to do an HD remaster of New York Undercover a while back. They were supposed to do like they were going to bring it back, if you will, and of course that ended up getting canceled. But I want to state this. I loved it, man. I mean, for instance, Ice-T was consistently one of the main villains. He wasn't in every episode, but you know what I'm talking about. Tupac and Biggie were on it. Treach and Naughty by Nature, if I'm not mistaken. Quite a few people from hip hop, in my opinion, the greatest era of hip hop, 90s hip hop, the golden age of hip hop, were basically on that show. And that show was just, the style of it was really, really cool. Really missed that show. But yeah, thank you for bringing that particular one up. It just, man, I love that show. Anyway, Grizzly Bear Greg, I'm almost ready to pull the trigger on getting Quant. I thought you were already in the Quant. Huh. Well, at these particular price levels, maybe you do that. Let me see real quick. So I know I don't have on the share, but I'm just I can look at the main page real quick. So Quant, about $107, up 2.60%. Yeah. I mean, let's face it. I mean, last time I think a dollar cost average into it, I was like at 115 or 120. So if anything, I mean, come on, man, that's pretty darn good. The General Lee had a rebel flag. We may never see it. Yeah, I mean, I understand the debate. I mean, I always like to hear other sides of the argument, right? But it's one of those things. I mean, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole right now, but I do recognize some of what you guys are saying. Working 3 jobs, brother, to fill my bags. Yeah, I was for a while too. Down to basically 1. But anyway, here we go. I'm gonna go ahead and highlight that. Yeah, I like Cheers. Cheers was good too. Sandwich Cheers. I preferred it when what's her name? Shelley Long was on the show. I mean, I did like Kirstie Alley too, but I was more of a Shelley Long fan. You know, a lot of people thought her character was annoying. But yeah, what's his name? Sam. What's his last name on the show? I forgot. Ted Dance. It's been a while, man. But yeah, I used to watch a lot of Cheers back in the day. All right. Gonna go ahead and highlight that. Let's get into the next part of our particular coverage. Well, I'm gonna stop right there. Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name. Cheers, right? Well, sometimes you want to go to the show where everybody knows your name, where a Tim Shea can say hey to everybody. You want to go where you want to go, where the Grizzly Bear Gregs are all the same. You want to go where Salamander, the XTC commander, where Max knows your name. Anyway, I know that was a bad rhyme, but anyway. I had to do something, right? All right. So Woody Harrelson, yeah, I think that's where he got his, he really started like making a name for himself. All right, now I will get back into it. Let me see. You mentioned the whole thing about R3 Corda. All right, next part is XRP coverage. And it wouldn't be a proper show without a little bit of crypto Lulu, whether you're a fan of him or not. I'm a fan of him, so there you go. I would love to have him on the show someday. He says access to tax-free cash with your digital assets, XRP. So, we mentioned this here before. In the future, not in the near future, but sometime in the future, I think, if anything, I need to do some videos on crypto endgame or crypto exit plan, if you will, because a lot of times, we're always talking about this particular project and that particular project, but in reality, everybody thinks they have a vision, if you will, when it comes to your crypto exit plan, or let's face it, take profits plan, if you will. But what about this? What about that access to tax-free cash with your digital assets with specifically what? XRP. So let's hear this. Only about roughly a minute, and then we'll come right back.
So when you actually borrow money from the bank, you don't pay tax on it, which is crazy. So here's what I want to pose to you. You take your 100% of your crypto portfolio to said institutions. You say, I want to stake 80% of that, and I want to borrow against, I want to collateralize, that's what it's called. I want to collateralize the remaining 20%. You can hold it in your custody. So now the institution have 100% of your custody, but you're staking 80% of it, and you're borrowing against the 20%. So now what you've got is a situation where your crypto hasn't off-ramped, it hasn't left the blockchain, it's remaining on your ledger, all of it remaining on your cold storage wallet. You've got access now to tax-free cash that you can spend on whatever you want. And as the price of XRP increases and you're earning an interest with the other 80%, you're paying off the loan that you've got against your 20% of assets in XRP, XLM, whatever. And so all of a sudden, what you've got is a system where you've got access to unlimited money, tax-free, and you can pay it off. That's the situation that we're looking.
Yeah, that's the situation. That's a future situation. So like I mentioned before, don't marry your crypto, but there's a few specific ones that you might very well want to do. For me, I'm looking at Quant and I'm looking at XRP specifically because to me, those make sense because in the future, those would be worth quite a bit. And if anything, if I could earn a 5 to 15% yield on those, on the APR, right? It's going to be something else to say the least. All right, a little bit more before I kick it back into the comments, because that was only about 1 minute. I want to share out some more info with you guys. This particular one, I might actually include it on a particular recorded video. This one is really powerful. So I'll say this much. If you're just joining us right now, check this out for yourself. It's something else. So look at this. So it says, for instance, the utility around XRP is not just about cross-border payments. The potential for the XRPL is literally unlimited. Now, a few days ago, somebody asked me in the comments, Max, what do you think about what Quant could bring to the table with healthcare? What about XRP as well? And I had an answer for that. I said I was going to do, for instance, a recorded video specifically mentioning just that. Well, here's a little taste of just that. We're always talking about, Ripple's on-demand liquidity, the cross-border payments and all that. And guys, I mean, come on, that's one of the huge standout ones. But what they bring to the table also when it comes to this healthcare thing is something else, to say the least. What you're about to see right here is what I want to refer to as kind of like, regulation loophole. For instance, in taxes, people mention tax loopholes. Well, I'm going to go ahead and label this a regulation loophole. And in this particular video, you're going to see why it is just that. So we're going to play this. It's about 2 minutes and 16 seconds, and we'll come right back in. But shout out to this guy. He did a really good job of basically getting really, really, like, I guess you could say, like a deep dive into it. He has a lot longer of a video for this, but again, this just kind of highlights the specific area. I wish I could have got the original guy who made this, but he did a very, very good job on this. So I'm going to go ahead and blow it up, and here we go.
Going on, my people, this is your boy Cornelius Jones, 10-minute investing, and I wanted to share this great tweet from EDO Farina XRP with a great announcement here. Boom! The first project running on the XRPL will revolutionize the pharmaceutical industry through the blockchain. Real utility incoming, baby. Just a few days until XRP Healthcare is announcing token sale details. Hashtag XRP at XRP Healthcare. Okay. Now, look what this says. XRP Healthcare news. XRP Healthcare will be announcing token sale details before Christmas. Wow. At XRP Healthcare. All right. So that's a entire company called XRP Healthcare. Now, what I notice here, nothing in this says anything about Ripple. This is not Ripple, people. Okay, this is an independent company putting real utility on the XRP ledger. Did they have to get Ripple's permission to do this? No. Why? Because it's a public blockchain. And so when it comes to utility, I think sometimes we forget. We're thinking about Ripple. Well, yes, we have reason to, because the technology they've created, on-demand liquidity, is totally going to revolutionize our financial system. But along with that being the case, XRP, the liquidity and utility around XRP is not just about cross-border payments. It's about global independent use case outside of Ripple, along with Ripple. This is endless. How many companies will start putting their technology and starting utilizing fintech along with the power of XRP? Good times are coming, baby. Good times are coming. It's your boy Cornelius Jones. I'll holler at y'all on the next.
All right. Yeah. Here's my thing. All right. So, all the talks about, for instance, regulation and so on, there was a person, and I believe she was from Stellar. Okay. It wasn't Denell Dixon, but it was another person, basically, I guess part of her team. And she did a very good job of addressing this, specifically when, the U.S. Senate committee was being addressed and so on, in light of everything that's happened with FTX. And that basically is this. And I retweeted this basically. And that is, let's, of course, regulate activity, but let's not regulate innovation, right? Or I should say, let's not regulate technology, So again, you have this whole thing with, for instance, this healthcare industry and so on. They recognize the technology that Ripple brings to the table and want to take advantage of that with this very amazing blockchain that Ripple provides, right, on XRPL and so on. And if anything, what are you going to do, Gary Gensler? You're going to go after them? You can't. You can't specifically do that. Maybe you can. I don't know. But my point is, there's going to be other ones, and there already is, basically. They recognize the technology and so on because it's just that, a public blockchain. So it is what it is, and it just, if anything, it sucks to see that originally happened. But yeah, I think there's a lot of things that are going to come into light here soon. And then, let's face it, guys. Brad Garlinghouse has already said it in the past. Brad of, CEO, or I should say co-CEO, right, of Ripple. And that is basically, if they lose the SEC lawsuit, which I don't see that happening, but it could be a possibility. Let's face it. If they lose, they're going outside the United States, and they're still going to be able to bring what they need. It is damaging, mainly to who? Us as Americans here in the United States. We're supposed to be, let's face it, the ones that were first and everything. Many years ago, we need to get back to that. So anyway, some of the major gripes a lot of us have. I see there's about 26 people here, even this late into the show. And if anything, that is awesome. Really, really thankful for that. But I'm going to go ahead and kick it back in the comments. We do have, I think, a little bit more. Let me see. Yeah, I think we do have a little bit more, but nonetheless, I'm going to go ahead and recognize a few more people and some comments. Yes, cheers to you, Crypto Winner. Good night to you, Grizzly Bear Greg. Thank you for joining us. Crypto McDizzle for Shizzle Manizzle for show. He says, I just mentioned you in a Quant post, Max. Twitter, go take a quick peep. All right, cool. Let me take a look. Appreciate that, man. So let's see. All right, that was a DM from Coochie Boy. That was a different one. I'll look at that one later, Coochie Boy. By the way, Coochie Boy, thank you for the Ripple thing earlier. I think on that one I was going to save it for the recorded. All right, let me see. All right, I see the particular tagged one. And all right, let me see. Yes, I did see this one. this was going to be part of my recorded video, but I will go ahead and share it. Just to kind of give you guys a gist of just that. Hold on a second. Let me get that window up. Yeah. So you see, for instance, all these particular tabs I have here, right? You know, you tag me right here. Watch this. I'll show you something real quick. Boom. I already beat you to it. This is going to be on a recorded. This is proof right here. Well, maybe you don't feel it as proof, but yeah, I have like literally 4 or 5, at least 6 that I was going to do specifically, you know, part of my outline, if you will, on, for instance, Quant. But yeah, thank you, Mike. Nonetheless, I will go ahead and show you guys, I guess, as a preview, if you will, about what you're going to see on the recorded Quant video. So check this out. And again, shout out to Mike Cornwell for providing it. But also this original guy, some spec at Crypto Chris 007. Says Quant never sold Quant to U.S. investors as they weren't allowed to participate in the ICO and never paid for any exchange listing. FINMA, their Swiss regulator, deemed Quant a utility token, as has the FCA, which is in the UK, where they reside. No clients need to touch Quant. Game, set, match, Gilbert Verdian, regulation safe. This was going to be part of my outline. So this is a preview, if you will, for that particular recorded video, where I wanted to basically kind of do a compare and contrast and a reflection of what's going on with recent news and so on, with all the fear and doubt, right? FUD, if you will, when it comes to, you know, trying to take a chance to get into some of these particular ones that you maybe thought of, right? Like with Quant. Some of you guys are not into Quant. You know, that's okay. But for whatever reason, you have your reasons. You know what I mean? Maybe it's because of some of the FUD and so on going on, not specifically on Quant, but just specifically on, you don't want to get into something you feel as though could be regulated out of the market, if you will. Well, when you see things like this and we take more of a deeper dive into it, and in this particular recorded video that's going to come up, you will see my deep dive into specifically that, where it mentions a few of these things. We're also going to get to some of the history of some of what Quant has brought to the table with other organizations that they worked with. And if anything, it's going to be a great recorded video. So again, I can't thank you enough, Mike, for recognizing that as well. And like, you know, the topic is do your own research with Max, and that's what we're here for tonight. We do have these shows that we bring to you guys. I'm always glad to do it because I do love doing a lot of my own research. And you guys, of course, have done a lot of your own research. And I do give you guys a lot of shout outs when it comes to that. You guys have turned me on to, you know, various different projects and so on. And I'm looking at it from the perspective of I'm always learning. I don't know everything just as much as somebody else out there doesn't know everything. But together as a community, we do share our questions, comments, and everything, whether it is the ISOs or some of the ones that you guys may feel are silly that might have opportunity, like some meme coins and so on. So it is what it is. Thanks, Crypto Mike. Appreciate it, man. Woody Harrelson, yeah. All right. WKRP in Cincinnati was a fantastic show. Yeah, you know, it really was. You know, who was it? Bruce or Burt Reynolds' ex-wife. God, what's her name, man? She was a bombshell. She was also in that show. I forgot her name. Anyway. Barney Miller and Welcome Back Cotter was awesome. Yeah, those are a lot of great old shows. You know, some of those reruns are still on. I always love Money Python's Flying Circus. So how about this? You know, was it Quest for the Holy Grail or whatever? Or Monty Python and the Holy Grail? That was a pretty good one too. You mentioned this again. That's all right. Adam, to take stake at the Cosmos Hub. I have 300 of them, and I sold 5 Quant from 10 Quant. That I had. The only thing I'm bullish on, Quant, Algorand, Atom, and Osmosis. Huh. Okay. Yeah, Chips was pretty good too. It says Boomer. Crypto winner. Quant and Algorand are running together on Atom, and the Osmosis are together. Okay. I never bought specifically Osmosis. It's never been on my watch list, but I know, for instance, you have Atom and you also have Osmosis and the whole Luna Classic connection and so on. And I think if anything, they do bring that element to Luna Classic that it needs. So I'm glad that you are passionate about those. Crypto Winter says, call me when XRP breaks your heart. It's been too long, too much Fed involvement with the program. Oh man, well, I hear where you come from. Crypto winner, all this guesswork, nothing solid. I'm from the show me state. Man, here's the thing, but dear, I want to tell you this much, man. You maybe already heard it yourself. So the on-demand liquidity is the main thing when it comes to Ripple's XRP, and that hasn't been fully utilized yet. So that's all I could say, man. I mean, I know they bring a lot of other things to the table, like we mentioned the whole thing with healthcare, but I mean, if anything, like I know you do a lot of your own research. Trust me, I've been with you on Discord in the past and so on. You don't have to convince me that you don't do your own research. You definitely do. But man, I mean, come on, man. Like that whole thing with the ODL. I mean, like that is, if anything, that's potentially we talk about trillions. That's literally quadrillions of potential money. How about this? When I mentioned the whole thing with Quant, about for instance, was $130 trillion of untapped capital, right? We mentioned that specifically in that recorded video. If you've seen it, if you haven't, that's okay. But it mentions some of these particular ones, for example. So there's a tremendous amount that's going to be flowing in. If Ripple's XRP with on-demand liquidity just hits 1% of some of these particular figures, you get the market caps that you've never seen before and the likes of crypto ever before. And that's what, again, I don't know. That's why I make some of these videos, talk about so on. But just don't overlook ODL. I'll just leave it with that. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. Maybe you're just like, nah, Max, I already looked into it all. But that's where it is with me. Ripple's ODL is something to be said. All right. Cody Core, I read that the UN is using XLM and MoneyGram to give cash to victims in the Russia-Ukraine. Okay. Thank you for that, Cody. Good to see you. Crypto winner, XRP at this point sounds like Luna Classic holders wishing on a star when the Feds use XRP to transact. Here's the thing. All right. So I'll leave you with this. Okay. Maybe we could agree or disagree on this particular one. Are you looking at XRP from the perspective of, you don't like what's going on with the United States because of regulation, because Gary Gensler specifically went after, and the SEC specifically went after XRP? Because if that's the case, you also got to keep in mind that Ripple can thrive and still do well without, the United States. Now you may feel as though, okay, Max, if that's the case, why the hell haven't they? Again, I'll remind you and everybody else, and I don't mean no disrespect, my friend. I respect you. But I'll remind everybody else, again, the flip of the switch has not happened yet. All right. You want to talk about volume? We're going on, I'm gonna share it right now. Now you guys got me going. How about that? All right. Not in a bad way. So I'm gonna share this real quick. Let's go straight to CMC. I mean, I know I bring up CMC quite a bit, but we could go to those sites and so on, but for the purpose of this, it's just an easy tool to use. So we're at CMC, right? You see all this volume coming in, even Bitcoin, right? The big number one, 16.8 billion in volume, right? It's not even number one in volume. What one's the number one in volume? Usually Tether, right? Number two is Bitcoin, Ethereum, and so on, right? The heck, even XRP, which is ranked 7th. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's ranked 6th in volume right now, 672 million. Again, we have not seen the full, potential of this. I mean, oh man, like for instance, we see, this particular volume of this being bought up, XRP, but let's face it, a lot of this is that institutional money. For instance, even Larry pointed out on one of his shorts that you see, for instance, whales coming up and buying this now at these particular price levels. Once we get that on-demand liquidity coming on, you want to talk about volume. Again, I'm pointing out this volume for you guys because if anything, you'll see like parabolic volume. We always talk about, these graphs and, supernatural moonshots and so on. That's how you get these supernatural moonshots, because if anything, it takes on that, for one, the debt. Think about this: 1% of was it the untapped capital of 130 trillion. God, man, was it 300 and I don't know exact specifics, but how about this? 1%, 310 billion. And that too, for instance, the overall crypto market cap. I mean, that's a nice start, right? If you add another 310 billion dollars to this, for instance, that alone increases this significantly. Then, for instance, you have to include, for instance, Stellar Lumens XLM. Then that's where we get this expression of, for instance, the utility run, and the utility run triggers a bull run. I'm just saying, man, don't look at it only from the perspective of just New York. How about this? You're from New York. Don't look at it from a New York state of mind. No pun intended. I know you're in the hip hop. Anyway, much love to you, brother. Anyway, Tim Shea, yes, Cody Core. Thanks for a good job. Well, thank you, Loveth. I'd like to go ahead and welcome you. I haven't seen you before. Guys, let's give Loveth the warm welcome. Appreciate you. We're approaching roughly 2 hours, so we're going to be wrapping things up in a little bit, not quite yet. Crypto Winner says, earlier this month, the FCC and the SEC ran their CBDC coin on the XRP network to do a transaction in New York City. Yep, we mentioned that, for instance, in Quant as well. The disabled machine, what's ALBT? You should look into that. It's called Alliance Block. And if you want to learn more about it, and you just want the quick gist of it, you go to the recorded video section that we have here. We have a quick short review about it, and there's also some updates. And then I also did a couple in regards to what they got going on the last few updates, to say the least. In fact, let me see if I could pull it up. So the last ones I did was about next gen smart wallet, which is called Nexera ID. I do a deep dive into that, and basically it's ushering in the next era for next generation of smart wallets. But yeah, it's a low market cap ISO, if you will, or not officially an ISO, but leaning towards that way. All right, Cool Cat Crypto says XRP will be huge, but it's not as decentralized as people think. No Loveth, just to say, hey, yeah, that's a good point, Cool Cat. I didn't want to dismiss that. Cool Cat went there. Yep. Glad that you're watching, Loveth. Thank you. Crypto Winner, Adam has been giving you great rewards. I think, if anything, guys, Crypto Winner is turning into the Cool Cat Crypto of Adam. So instead of, for instance, Cool Cat's very passionate about BSV, you seem like you're becoming very passionate about Adam. That's good, man. Know what you believe in. And, we did a little bit of a deep dive before on the live show with Adam. We didn't have great audience attendance for it and so on. I think we lost a lot of people and so on. They just found it boring or whatever. I don't know, whatever the case may be. But I said before, I believe in Adam. I think it's solid. And I think, if anything, in the bull market, it'll definitely stand out. And, a lot of people need to have it on the radar, to say the least. All right, Calvin's in the house. He said, with privacy concerns, healthcare organizations could benefit in a big way. Thank you, Calvin, and thank you for being here. Going a little bit further down. Everyone, welcome, Calvin. Yes, Lonnie Anderson. That's right. Yeah, and she was even a guest star on Three's Company for one episode. She played the role of Jack Tripper's girlfriend. Yeah, it was. Man, yeah, Lonnie Anderson back in the day. Whew. She stood out, for instance, Pamela Anderson back in Baywatch in the 90s, but she was an 80s heartthrob, late 70s, early 80s heartthrob, to say the least. Loveth, I have Alchemex. Please, can someone tell me if it's a good buy? I can't. I can't officially give you advice on that. And if anything, I can't even give you my own input on that particular one, because that's one of 20,000 ones out there that I just haven't, looked into. So, but maybe somebody else here is an Alchemex. By all means, let Loveth know. And we do appreciate you. Loveth, consider changing your avatar. It's something that speaks more about who you are and what you're about. But again, I'd like to go ahead and welcome you. We hope that Crypto Talk Now, CTN, ends up being one of your regular shows to watch for both recorded and live. So thanks again. Crypto Winner states, what scares me with XRP is the relationship with the feds. If they are in court with them, why let them use your system to run their USDC? I'm also looking at it from the perspective, like I mentioned before, They could lose this whole thing with the SEC. Let me try to pull it up. I'm gonna pull up a video. Maybe because there was a time that you were gone, and if anything, I want to try to see if I can pull this up. Hold on a second. We'll get more into it. I think some of you guys know which one I'm talking about. I shared it a while back. Shows the guy's head blow off or whatever. I don't know, I can't pull it up. Dang it. But I'll probably try to. I'll find it on crypto Twitter here in a bit. Boost and Flip, bro, you are not concerned that Quant might not go anywhere and not be adopted. Even now, it's still a speculative bet, and Overledger may be succeeded by something else. If it happens, it happens. Here's the way I look at it. I am concerned. I'm concerned just like as much as any person, right? A lot of it's, let's face it, everything's speculative. Even Gilbert Verdian on a particular interview, he was asked specifically, well, this is not 100% secure. And his greatest response ever was, nothing's 100% secure. The only thing that's 100% secure is something that's not plugged into something. You know what I mean? And heck, even those things that aren't plugged into something, technically speaking, aren't 100% secure. Even a cold storage wallet isn't 100% secure. It still can be hacked. But yes, I am concerned. It says Overledger, for instance, maybe succeeded by something else. It's possible. But how about this? Do you know of anybody else out there that has as an extensive resume for literally 20 plus years as Gilbert Verdian when it comes to all of his background for Web 1, 2, and going into Web 3? That's the way I'm personally looking at it. You're looking at somebody also who wrote the ISO standard, if you will, back in 2014. His vision of what he wanted to do with what other companies are currently doing as we speak, with the technologies they have and so on. So yes, I realize that there could be another player that comes, right? Maybe succeeded by something else. And if anything, my attitude would be Quant, Gilbert Verdian, the rest of his crew and so on, Martin Hargreaves, all of them. They'll basically say, all right, let's work together. Let's be interoperable, right? Let's not necessarily make it so we're competing against each other. He specifically mentions that interoperability and not throwing up walled gardens or barriers, if you will. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I look at it as, Quant's a monopoly. It absolutely is. Currently speaking, it's monopoly, even though it doesn't have that label. Just like Microsoft for the longest time was a monopoly, right? You literally on 90% of the home, and office PCs of the world. Yeah, the other 10% is Apple, and I also get, there's Linux and all that, but come on, those are free. So the way I look at it, bring it on. It could happen. A lot of it's speculative. All right. Love it states, Max, please say something about Alchemix. I can't because I don't know about it. I will never talk about ones I don't know particularly about. Yeah, I can do a quick Google search, as Cool Cat has mentioned in the past. But I'm more of a deep dive type of guy. I like to properly research stuff before I elaborate on it, because otherwise I'm just, let's face it, like other content creators out there, not all of them. There's some great ones. There's some bad ones too, who literally talk out of the side of their mouth and just try to wing stuff. And that's just not me. I don't do that. So sorry. Crypto Winner, yes, Max, you're the man. Well, thanks, buddy. I appreciate you. You too as well, though, man. You're very passionate about what you've researched. I'll say this much, man. Like, a lot about shorting and so on. I haven't done shorting. I probably should have. If I would have known, if I would have been as passionate about crypto and some of the other ones I'm into, took that passion to shorting, I think I would have made a ton of money in this bear market. Let's be real about it. The real people that made money in this year's market are the people who basically shorted, or the people who just came in at bottom basically in June, and then maybe like a couple times recently with the whole FTX, after the whole FTX thing happened. People who basically got rock freaking bottom. Like, we're talking overall crypto market cap of, was it 770 billion, basically when Bitcoin touched the 15s briefly, stuff like that, right? But on an average, people who did the shorting and knew how to short, oh yeah, they made fortunes. That doesn't mean I'm recommending that you guys do shorting. If you're going to do it, know your stuff. Absolutely. Boost and Flow. Why are Quant's owners the biggest Bitcoin haters? It's not that they're necessarily haters. I get where you're coming from, but to each his own. The biggest Bitcoin maxis are the biggest Quant haters too. So, there is that retrospect. Because if anything, how about this? All right, let's do a little bit of compare and contrast. So when it comes to Quant, all right, or let me start off first. When it comes to Bitcoin maxis, they'll say, and this is a good argument. You guys got to admit, this is a very good argument. So they'll say, for instance, well, all right, Quant people, we understand you have a less circulating supply. You got us beat by basically like 5 million on that. You have a solid utility token and so on. All right. Well, this is what we have. All right. We have a legitimate commodity. We have, for instance, a legitimate store of value. They'll make the gold connection, if you will. They'll always will bring this up. There's a reason why we don't have a CEO. And the reason why we don't have that CEO is because that's how we have that particular store of value. Your CEO could quote unquote rug you guys or take off to the Bahamas and stuff. They always make that connection, but in reality it is apples and oranges. You're really going to throw every single CEO generalize. Me personally, I hate generalizations. I just think they don't really hold a lot of weight, if you will, when it comes to most topics. But some of them, I guess, are okay to generalize things. But for the purpose of this discussion on this particular topic, how about this? So, for instance, Bitcoin maxis will say there's a reason why you never seen Satoshi Nakamoto. That's the beautiful thing about the Satoshi white paper. To a sense, I would agree with that. But the problem is this: while all these great things of Bitcoin happen, and people feel as though we will get to 100,000 plus Bitcoin, and I think eventually we will. Don't get me wrong. I still think there's opportunity in Bitcoin. I just think there's greater opportunity with the likes of Quant because that is true utility where Bitcoin isn't. I mean, for people who are Bitcoin maxis, you're going to say basically, well, Max, Bitcoin will be used for cross-border payments at scale of Ripple's XRP and Stellar Lumens. No, for one, that's not going to happen. That's too expensive. You know what I mean? And the fees alone and the transactions, it's like, you're going to tell me that Swift is going to, I don't want to get more into this. You kind of see where I'm going with this, but I will state this. Now, on the other side of it, the Quant owners, as far as being the biggest Bitcoin haters, I don't 100% agree with that, but there are some, don't get me wrong. And that is they're looking at it from the perspective of, look, we are the innovators. All right. Perfect example is like we mentioned on the show the previous day. You have, for instance, the likes of Web 1. All right. Those guys who were around during Web 1, do you know of a single one that really is around right now that was innovative? No. They got swallowed up with the times. Perfect example, America Online, Time Warner, so on and so forth. How about this? We're talking about the comparison of going from Web 1, not just Web 1 to Web 2, but where we're at in Web 3. Pets.com. You guys know what I'm talking about. Pets.com, forget about it. Like it was a failure. It didn't work out during the whole .com boom, right? But technically speaking, we do have a pets.com right now. Who is it? Chewy.com. Chewy.com is thriving. Chewy.com is one of those stocks, and we don't talk about stocks here much, so don't get me wrong on that. But technically speaking, Chewy.com is the Web3 version, if you will, of pets.com, right? So that works now. Perfect example in contrast to crypto, right? Bitcoin is not an innovator. They're not going to keep up with the times. I'm looking at like Bitcoin's days are numbered. But still, do not get me wrong. I still think there's opportunity there, but there's not as much of a reward for that opportunity. And that's why I put in the last thumbnail for the Quant video, investing in Quant, again, not financial advice, but for me personally, investing in Quant is like basically investing in Bitcoin back in 2013 when Bitcoin was $100, right? That's a fair analysis. It's a fair comparison. You know, you hear other people mention it. And I will say, shout out to Rich at Common Sense Crypto. He uses that slogan a lot as well. And that basically is Quant is your second chance at Bitcoin. And of course, for the Bitcoin maxis, they're going to say, no, it's not, Max. It's not your second chance at Bitcoin because it's not Bitcoin. Okay, I get it. But if you want to compare things for rate of return, right, on investment at certain price levels, it does look very, very appealing. And if anything, a lot more appealing than the current status at Bitcoin, even at 16 or even hinting $15,000, right? So I'm looking at it from the perspective of, yeah, would it be nice to own a couple Bitcoin? Well, of course. And would Bitcoin eventually get up to 100,000, maybe 200,000? It's very well possible, right? But I will state this one last thing before we kick into the next comment, and that is this. So a lot of people, let's face it, they FOMO'd into Bitcoin at 69K. They got absolutely destroyed. Now, when we go on this utility run, it's going to help the overall crypto market, and that will trigger a bull run. And I'm just going to, state that. I feel as though there's enough evidence to say that. I'm not going to be the average YouTube content creator out there that's going to just, say, yeah, bro, 1000x clickbait. No, I'm not like that. I base things on data, actual analytics, and all that stuff. I look at the market, the 4-year cycles, all that stuff. And I've drawn my own personal conclusion that there's enough support for that particular theory. And if anything, that's where when you look at people who have been in the crypto for many, many years, they always come back to this. There's never been a true utility run yet. Keyword yet. And if anything, you're going to see, for instance, many of these particular cryptos blast off, if you will, when that utility run happens. And if anything, the likes of CMC, you're going to have to put some of these ISOs in a whole other category. Maybe they'll finally just put it in its own category called ISO coin/tokens, and it has its own particular section because it definitely would deserve that. But we can talk about the whole thing of Bitcoin haters. Quant hates Bitcoin. Quant, Bitcoin maxis hate Quant. I would say this much: it's more of Bitcoin maxis hate Quant, and we'll just leave it there. I really appreciate it, Boost and Flow. That was a great comment and question. All right. Boost and Flow also states the big banks have zero interest in XRP. Why on earth would the banks want full control around something like XRP? Is a joke. You're not a fan of it. Fair enough. They do have some interest in it. I'll state this much. It may seem like on the surface that they don't have interest on it. They do definitely have interest on it. And where they have interest on it, basically, there's this thing. Maybe you already researched it for yourself. There's a term called Nostro Vostro. Look into it yourself. It is a looming thing that simply exists not just for central banks, but banks in general. And basically, that's where the demand for on-demand liquidity comes from to address some of these particular concerns. How about this? Banks, traditionally speaking, goes through likes of SWIFT to move trillions of for instance, dollars or euros or whatever the case be, pounds from one nation to the other. If you move $10 trillion from point A country to point B country, let's just say, for instance, I don't know, Italy to South Korea, for instance, right? That's overseas and so on. They can actually take more than a day, right? People say it's only take a few hours. That actually could take more than a day. And in reality also is those particular banks are going to get slapped with a fee of $60 billion for about roughly 10 trillion or more. So it's not in their best interest to continuously want to do that. By taking on, for instance, XRP's on-demand liquidity and recognizing the technology that XRP brings to the table, for one, you're not spending hours or if not a couple days to send that money, right? It's going to take, for instance, maybe 30 seconds finalization. Then on top of that, combine that with ISO 222 messaging technology, if you will, right? You're not having a garbled message from point A, right, of our English, or I should say our particular Latin English alphabetical, I don't know, like the text that you see on the screen, and especially if you're a gamer. This is a perfect example. So for me personally on the PC, you know how many times I used to play Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare back in the day and have people from, China or Russia play on their servers. And when they type on their screen, it's just a bunch of gibberish. Like, what is that? I can't understand that. And then when we type back, it's like for the same thing with them. What is this? I can't understand that. Can you imagine if there was ISO 222 messaging standards for that game? I know it sounds crazy, but that's a perfect example. It goes from point A to point B. So I type in that message, that guy on the other end ends up getting the message that I originally sent. Think about that in banking. We send that from the likes of the UK, for instance, the likes of South Korea. They get it and they're like, huh? They only get a piece of that. Then they have to contact, whoever and, work something out. And again, it's not a full transacted transaction. It gets paused and think about this. When it gets paused, it's not fully gone through. It gives, there's security threats in that. People can try to hack that. You get what I'm saying? So when you say, for instance, and this is not me showing disrespect by any means. I do appreciate it. I have friends that they don't see Ripple. They don't like it. My friend from Portland, Oregon, my childhood friend, he's not a fan of Ripple. I remember him saying that he hates it basically, and he'll never get into it. Like you're mentioning, big banks have zero interest in XRP. I just don't think that's the case. I mean, if anything, I think they're recognizing the mandate, and if anything, they're going to embrace the technology because that's going to save them a ton of money. But I also understand the other side of the debate that their traditional finance, what do they really hate? I think if anything, how about this? What they really hate is the threat with stable coins, right? Because stable coins, if anything, and this has been a debate that we mentioned for the longest time, with stable coins, that is a real threat to TradeFi because traditional banks is not going to give us even on an IRA, right? I think the last time I had one was like 2.99%, right? So a traditional bank can't touch what we were yielding, for instance, before everything went crazy, right? But even at lowball at 5%, a traditional bank can't touch that. So I think if anything, that's what they hate, right? They hate seeing that. But as far as the technology for real, true blockchain technology, that on-demand liquidity, especially with Ripple, forget it, man. Like they are gonna be, oh my God. All right. Kind of got a little on a tangent on that. Anyway, I do appreciate the feedback. I appreciate the comments boosting the flow. I'm not trying to win people over to XRP or anything like that. I might sound like I am, but at the end of the day, it's all our own personal decisions. I'm not trying to give you financial advice for you to go out and buy XRP or buy Quant or get into this or get into that. So Calvin states, hi, Tim, happy holidays to you and your family. Thank you for that, Calvin. Crypto Winter, Quant doesn't scare me. Do the map Michael Cornwell gave us on Quant volatility. I'm not good. I'll do that for a different day, man. This is getting too late in the show. Volatility, my boy bought at 45 on Quant, went to 200, man. Michael Cornwell, hope you sold it. Coochie boy, which crypto tokens or coins are truly decentralized is the $1 million question. Very true. I'll give you one answer on that. Clearpool is a true DeFi project I feel as though is on hardly anybody's radar, but it's going to be on everybody's radar in the future. That's why I literally did over 36 videos on them. And no, I wasn't paid one single time. And that's the truth. All right, let me go further down. Tim Shea, same to you and yours, Calvin. Yep. Thank you. Forget about it. Yeah. All right. ALBT, Summertime's in the ALBT. Yeah, that was a good song. The Dove Shack, Summertime in the ALBT. Well, LBC, but yeah. All right, Loveth states, hi, Max. I'm fully on board now. Thanks for acknowledging me. Yeah, you're welcome. That's what it's all about. We always acknowledge people, especially newcomers and so on. Thank you for showing up here. And if anything, check out our recorded section for more crypto news updates and deep dives and short dives for that matter. Larry does some of the short dives on short reviews on like ALBT and stuff like that. Let me see. Did mad research on it and fell in love with ICB. Cool Cat Crypto Winner does seem to be having a love affair with Adam. And that's good. I mean, at the end of the day, bring your research, know what you believe in, and be passionate about anything. Let's face it, there's a lot of unpassionate people in the world. Boost and flow, XRP over ETH. Enjoy being poor. I ain't poor. But okay. Let's see here. Boost and I just recognize opportunity is my thing, but boost and flow. When XRP loses the case and the SEC, okay. All right, fair enough. Fair enough. You seem to really not like XRP, but that's fine. That's fine. We welcome you. When XRP loses the case and the SEC deems it and everything else is security, then you'll wake up and realize crypto isn't going to have another bull run. And my answer to that is basically the rest of the world could give a crap if the United States wins the SEC lawsuit or not. Yeah, would it help the United States big time? Yeah, sure. But if anything, the rest of the world, especially the central banks, will keep on going about business, and they definitely will take the likes of XRP and basically utilize Ripple's on-demand liquidity, especially XRPL, whether Ripple loses that lawsuit or not, and that is a fact. Crypto winner, I just can't wait until my new condo is all set up to bring that heat on the charts. Next year is for the brave. Okay, fair enough. Let me see if I can bring up this particular video real quick. One second. Let me see. I can't pull it up. Dang it. I think I sent it to like Crypto Mike or somebody like that a long time ago. I used to have it. Such a good video. But yeah, that's okay. I forgot who even made it, but he did such a good job on it. But oh well. Show the Quant map, Max. That map is gold. No, it is gold, but I'm actually going to wrap up the show. It's 2 hours and 16 minutes, and I need to get going. Comparing Bitcoin to Quant is pointless. I guess I missed a super chat earlier. Sorry about that. Comparing Bitcoin to Quant is pointless. They are so far apart in their utility. It's unbelievable. Bitcoin is tried and tested and adopted globally. Quant isn't anywhere near that right now. Oh, jeez. So for one, you don't like XRP. You're apparently a Bitcoin maxi. That's okay. All right. I'm not being disrespectful or anything. Mr. Shagans, good morning from Scotland. Quant to rule them all. Thank you, Shagans. Crypto McDizzle, they say Quantum PC will crack any Bitcoin phrase soon. Thanks for the 2 hour super chat, Mike. Sorry I didn't get to it earlier, man. All right. I'm just going to kind of flash through a lot of these. Don't want to turn this into a 3 hour show. It's almost 2.5 hours. I'll read this one. You don't understand Bitcoin if you think its days are numbered. It's being used globally. Entire nation states are using it as legal tender, and South America will be boarding Bitcoin in a frantic way. Well, I look at it from the perspective of that. Okay, fair enough. Right? You say the days aren't numbered. I'm looking at it for the perspective of like this: the opportunity compared to my return on investment, right? For Quant compared to Bitcoin, I'm gonna have a way more higher return on investment based on the particular prices, market cap, and so on. I also see what, for instance, everything that Quant is connected to. I mean, all right, Crypto Winner wants me to bring up this particular Quant chart so bad, so I guess I will. Interoperability. Hold on a second. You probably seen this. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of like turning crypto atheists into believers type of thing, right? Like, it's like one of those things. But anyway, here we go. And if anything, I'm going to copy the image address, share it away for you to see it. Oh, shit. Cryptos are us. Hold on, let me get a different one. Let me pull this one up. Man, all the ones that I had. All right, here we go. Copy image address. Oh, shucks, that one's not even that big either. But I'll leave it at this one. So I'm going to share this particular one. Here we go. There we go. I wish I could make it a little bit bigger, but anyway, maybe I can. Hold on a second. Let me zoom in. Hold on a second. I had like the best image earlier. There we go. Let's zoom in a little bit. So, I mean, you're honestly telling me you never seen this before? Like, maybe you have. Maybe you're just like, I don't care about that. This is a bunch of crap. So, for instance, look at all these things that, I mean, they're connected to, right? And by the way, you want to talk about interoperability. I mean, technically speaking, yeah, there's a lot of ones that claim they're interoperable and so on, but to make them quote unquote interoperable, it requires a blockchain. The overledger operating system, key thing here, operating system, it's just that, like, it is basically over all of this. And so, for instance, I mean, look at this, the multi-chain DApps, right? For instance, like the Swift and heck, Amazon Web Services, JP Morgan. We talk about some of the legacy systems, Ethereum, Bitcoin. For instance, I mean, we talked about R3 Corda earlier, the banking APIs, and that's just like not even the tip of the iceberg, if you will, man. I mean, big names here, right? Intel, Samsung, Microsoft, Cisco. Banking APIs, JP Morgan, Citibank. I mean, Citibank used to be the biggest bank at one point back in the mid 2000s. The Oracle partnership is huge. The Pentagon awarded a $9 billion contract. For instance, with 4 different companies, and Quant, or I should say, Oracle was part of that particular one to be awarded that contract for, like, was it the next 9 years or 10 years? I can't remember how many years it is. That was big in itself. And then, for instance, that connection with Quant, right? We talk about enterprise blockchains. So, even some of the ones here, Constellation Day, the whole connection with the Air Force. It's not just Quant being connected to layer 1s or layer 2s. Heck, how about this? Layer 0s, right? Polkadot. Payment APIs. I use PayPal all the freaking time. Amazon Pay, Walmart Pay, some of these other ones that people use on a daily basis, Gmail, freaking Facebook, I mean, Discord. I mean, I don't know, man. I'm just looking at it from the perspective that, Quant literally connects the damn world, period. I don't know what else to say. But anyway, I am going to... I'll read this last one. Bitcoin is going from strength to strength. Everything else can go to zero, yet Bitcoin will continue. Don't be fooled by thinking you miss buying Bitcoin. Okay, fair enough. I guess, I don't know. Are you a big fan of Michael Saylor? I will ask it. Can I at least ask that? Are you a big fan of Michael Saylor? All right. Boost and Flow says, appreciate you taking the time to respond, man. Love your channel. Well, thank you, man. And that's the thing, I do appreciate that comment. And again, one of the problems we have here in America, the age-old expression, being able to agree to disagree, right? Don't attack the messenger, attack the argument. So, and then you did that, and I do appreciate that. Cool Cat Crypto is a very nasty monster waiting in the dark. Okay. Oh, you're talking about BSV. All right, guys, I need to get going for real because I got some places I had to go before they close. So don't take it personal. Okay. All right, guys. Again, it's nothing personal. I really got to get going. You convinced me. I don't think I convinced you. Anyway, yeah, exactly. I know you're kidding. All right, guys, I appreciate you. It's been a long show, almost 2.5 hours. Be on the lookout, like I mentioned before, for more recorded videos, shorts, live shows, you name it. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Even before the show ends, we still have 24 people. It's really, really cool to see our numbers up. But, again, guys, really appreciate you. Keep the constructive debates, arguments going. I think, if anything, it's good. Not just for the space, but for people in general. Never attack the messenger, attack the argument. So with that said, have a blessed night, everybody. We will see you on the next one.